this should be working. Hello, Grognards. We are here this evening to bring you a mighty venerable tome indeed, the 1993 Angels of Death Codex. We've roped Karl into this one. So this is going to be some good times. Hello, Karl.
Yo, how's it going?
Pretty good, mate. And, of course, Matt is also here, being our resident Dark Angel player. Hello, Matt.
Hello, we are streaming like a marble cherub's winky.
Of course, Matt is also here. Take that as you will. In the chat, if you could just let us know if the volume levels are okay. I've adjusted them from last time that we did this, because apparently Matt was a little bit loud and I was a bit quiet. So hopefully
he's always loud.
Is a bit better today. He's a booming fellow. He's like a dreadlocked Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed is my hero.
But yeah, before we get into this, guys, let's just talk about our history with the old Angels of Death Codex. I can see Sonic Wingnut. It's just like this is his favourite childhood codex, and I think the time I got into second edition was pretty much when this codex came out. I think it was like the third or fourth codex, maybe. And I just remember being blown away. Ben, who still works at Games Workshop even now, was the Blood Angel guy, and a guy I knew called Rob Fawkes was the Dark Angel guy. So yeah, got quite a lot of use out of this codex. And I remember just like looking at it and just thinking it's freaking amazing. Before we even get to Mark Gibbons' brilliant artwork or anything like that, it's just full of awesomeness, and it seemed to be embracing a theme, but before they got really silly with the themes, if you know what I mean. There's something very 90s punk metally about it that's not maybe there these days. So if we go with Karl first, what's your memories of this codex, dude?
It was my very first codex. I sort of dabbled with Rogue Trader. I'm too young to play it properly or anything. But when second edition came out, I took one look at the Blood Angel on the cover, and I was like, "That's my army, and that'll be my army for 40k forever." Mm-hmm. Mostly stuck to that. It morphed into Flesh Terrors later on, but this codex, it's just pure inspiration. My dad had Dark Angels as well, so
oh, cool.
Codex kind of doubled up between us.
Nice. And I mean, if we just look at the Blood Angel on this cover, you just don't get this these days. There is just something so, I don't know, over the top, iconic, grimdark, gothic about this, and there is something that's just been lost, I think, with that translation to the kind of CAD format that they embrace these days. They're just not, I'm not saying that the models were necessarily better back then in every single way. The fidelity was a lot lower, some of the proportions were off and that kind of thing, but design wise I certainly feel that there was something that was captured with these age of miniatures that's completely lacking with what we get these days. I mean, the Sanguinary Guard didn't even exist with this codex, but to look at those now would make a Blood Angel player weep, I imagine.
With joy. Your special unit was the Death Company, and the cover is just wall-to-wall Death Company with a couple of dreadnoughts. And that's kind of everything I ever collected, really. Yeah,
exactly. And just that's such an iconic, colour scheme, the black, the red, and a little bit of white in there and everything like that. It was just just perfect. So nice one, man. I didn't realise it was your first codex, so that's pretty awesome. Matthew, what's your recollections of this?
Well, Alan, I didn't actually get to play with this one, because by the time I got my hands on this codex, all the people that I used to play Warhammer with, I said it like there was a lot of them. There was about 4 people back then that lived near me who I used to play like Blood Bowl and Space Hulk and Rogue Trader with. They'd all fucked off to uni. So I literally just got the book and was like, this looks really nice. I love these new Terminators after having the plastic crap ones from Space Hulk. The metal ones were amazing.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I think there was a few other things that were released around about this codex as well that featured in this codex for the first time. So we'll get into that as we go through the book. Yeah, I mean, I think this one is. I mean, obviously we need to bear in mind this was never really done again. This whole kind of double codex. No. You effectively got 2 army lists in this codex. They shared it, and that was never really done again. And the ranges are so big now that they could probably never do this kind of thing again. But you just got so much out of this book. It was such a cool cool book in general. I mean, I think all the second edition codexes are just magnificent snapshots of that exact time. And I remember when it went to third edition was when I started working for the company just before third edition came out. And we got those kind of really cut down codexes. They went to like £8 each, and it was a tiny bit of lore and then quite a lot of rules kind of thing. And definitely not as much fun as these ones.
The supplemental ones were £4 each.
They were, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
2 blister packs? No, I'll get a book instead.
Which, you know, is you can't even get a bloody white dwarf for that these days. So, but yeah, it was definitely stripped back when we got to the third edition before it started going sort of the other way again. But yeah, it's a brilliant book. And in the chat, please, sound off and let us know what you think about these wonderful times. I mean, yeah, we could be guilty of some rose-tinted glasses these days with things, but one thing I remember more than anything else about this time is, and I mean, obviously we were younger back then, but everybody was happy.
Not by much.
Everybody was happy back then. We were just happy to be playing with our toy soldiers. There was
Exactly.
no being made to feel guilty for playing 40k, apart from just being you're a colossal nerd. There was no sort of like you're a bad person because you think the Imperium and the good guys or anything like that. It just didn't exist.
No modern bullshit.
There was no modern bullshit. It was just there is only war, and these are your armies to recreate that war and recreate that setting, and that was it. There was no further ambition beyond that. This was still very much in the kind of and I have got a video.
I must admit, second edition, I don't remember anyone ever looking down on someone else for having a particular army. That only started when people started playing Tau.
I was about to say.
I was going to say, that's when the Weeb army came out. Yeah.
All those dirty tail players.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was definitely a sea change in 40k, bringing in that kind of like almost pacifist kind of army. Maybe it's the wrong word, but the sort of working for the greater good, looking to assimilate and work with other races rather than just eradicate them.
More of a noble bright than the grim dark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
on the surface at least.
Back then it was a contrast to the Imperium, and you're like, oh, cool, yeah, okay, I get that. And now the Imperium is kind of like all heroes as well, because you've got the Primaris, and you're like, really feel like you've kind of missed, dropped the lore there somewhere along the line. But we're not here to chat about how crap things are today. Today we're here to look at this brilliant codex. So cover work by Jeff Taylor, absolutely brilliant, renowned fantasy artist, just awesome. I've got this as like I think I've got as like a set of 4 coasters, like second edition coasters, and I've also got my massive mouse mat from second edition.
Oh, those bloody coasters!
Yeah.
My only complaint about them is anytime you want to find one of these codexes on eBay, you type it in and it's always someone selling a coaster.
And there's people selling the coasters like £15 each.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I only paid about a tenner for the set, cheeky bastards. But then you look at the prices of the codexes online and you start crying. So
not everyone lives 10 minutes from Warhammer World, Alan.
Well, cross I have to bear, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, the second edition codex is a very good point. They do go for a pretty penny these days. I think I'm missing 2. And I went looking. One of them is Imperial Guard. I'm not sure what the other one is. And I went looking. I was just like, since when was that £100? Jesus. Because when I picked them up, they were like, 40, maybe £50 each. But yeah, now they're like triple figures. So yeah, I just... a bit mad all round, really. So let's have a look at this brilliant codex. So here we go. I presume you guys have got your own sort of copies.
I've
in
got
front of you.
Mint condition in my hands.
Fantastic.
I think it's probably fair to warn people, if they've not seen this codex before, you might want some sunglasses.
You know what? Karl was saying the exact opposite 5 minutes ago, weren't you, Karl? Come on, repeat what you said, dude.
Yeah, so basically, whenever anyone says, 40k wasn't always grim dark, it was always quite bright. I mean, the painting of like people's models was fairly bright, but the artwork is gothic and grim and dark in this book, and it's incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has got some of Mark Gibbon's finest work in it, I think, in all honesty.
I think it's even got the famous Mephiston somewhere as well.
And one of the reasons that the painting was so bright was that they used white undercoats.
Nah, I thought they were just appealing to the blind.
They used nothing but white undercoats in that day, from what I remember. I think there was a Chaos Black. There was a Chaos Black spray for sale.
But the problem was
I can almost remember I can almost remember the barcode number for that, because when we were working at Games Workshop Thurrock, the till broke one day, so we had to like type in the numbers, and we sold so many cans of spray that I remembered the numbers for those two bloody things. But yeah, I mean, they were certainly brighter back then. Painting wasn't as sophisticated back then, I think we can say. Maybe, you know, it's just, maybe a different style. Let's just say that. There was a very different style.
A lot of it was the actual pigmentation in the paint wasn't quite good enough to cover like a darker undercoat with a lot.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you tried to put sunburst yellow over black, you would be there all day.
Or blood red.
Or blood red.
You very famously saw very, very few White Scars or Imperial Fist players ever.
Yeah, exactly. There was one guy there's one guy that even back then did Howling Griffins, and I was like, man, that's
mate.
That's a dedication right there, yellow and red. Wow.
It needs to talk to someone.
Yeah, there was no contrast or foundation paints in these days at all. And as you say correctly, the old Citadel pots with the hexagonal lids, and then they went, sort of the round lids, were they were not good for coverage at all. So yes, it was generally white undercoats, no contrast, and then you just slap your base coats on until you couldn't see the white anymore, and then do some highlighting. So
maybe experiment with inks if you were brave enough.
Yes, you had the washes, didn't you? You had flesh wash, armor wash, which I've still got some. I mean, I have to say, I've still got some of these very early paints.
I've still got a snakebite leather. I can't wash.
Yeah, exactly. And those paints have held up where other GW paints have died on me. You know what I mean? There's paints that I've got that are probably older than some of our viewers, certainly, and they're still fine. I've literally just finished using the very dregs of my Mithril Silver Citadel paint. You know, like 30 years later. Oh, so Matt says we don't do numbers here, but they last. They lasted and lasted.
I think Coat d'Arms still do all those old colours.
They do, yeah. They bought the formula, and I bought some recently. Well, not recently. It's been a few years ago. Recently, for me, is a subjective thing. But I bought a load of the Coat d'Arms, and some of them, they're very hit and miss. Some of them are really good. Some of them are memories of the 90s in bad ways. Let's just put it that way.
I got their amethyst purple and emerald green, like the two metallics they did, because I had the original GW ones of those back in the day, and those two served me very well.
Yes, yeah. I have to say, the worst ones, I think, just to go off tangent, just real quickly, I think were the screw top ones that GW did.
Yeah, what the hex screw pots?
They were abysmal. Like, I bought an actual mega paint set of that, and the entire thing was fucked within about 8 months. I was like, these just suck. The paint sucked, the design sucked.
They were crap if you were an adult. They were diabolic if you were a child, because you would get about 3 uses out of them, and that's it. They're done. That's
it. And then the lids wouldn't go on, and they'd just become all gummed up and crap. So, glad they're gone. I mean, I personally think that GW will be looking at redoing the paint range soon, because it's been quiet for quite a long time. Apart from
I don't understand why they hate dropper bottles so much.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Everybody else uses them for a bloody reason. GW just stubborn. They just want you to buy more paint. Anyway, let's get on with this. Jeff Taylor artwork, absolutely stunning piece. Just so evocative of these guys, just charging to war. You've got a whole battle scene in the background. It's not trying to do anything else other than that. It just looks like a heavy metal album cover, and I'm like, yes.
That it does. It's so good. I don't even mind. There's no Dark Angels on it.
They're sort of, considering the Angels of Death, they're sort of lacking a little bit. Maybe they're still getting their dresses on or something. I don't know, Matt. But
I mean,
they make up for it with the inner cover, where we've got the Mike McVeigh. Now there's a name. Dark Angel Chapel. And this, I think, is at Warhammer World, if I remember correctly.
It is, yeah. What was that called?
The Dark Angels did also get a supplement called Storm of Vengeance.
They
Which
did. It was a
came with
campaign
cardboard power
supplement.
plant.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Pacina campaign.
I had it. It was great. Introduced Sergeant Neyman as well.
It did. Yeah, that had some cardboard scenery in it, if I remember correctly, like a power generator.
It was a power plant.
Yeah, which unfortunately I seem to have. I had no idea what had happened to all this stuff, and I thought I'd given it to Lee to sort of look after or something, but he seems to think that I left it in one of my old flats in the loft, and that seems scarily accurate. So somebody somewhere is literally living below a treasure trove of second and third edition scenery, you know, like the fire base, the bastion, all of it. So yeah, bollocks, I suppose. But yeah, this was a great piece. You can kind of see where he's used, you know, what he's used, and you've got little bolters here, stained glass. But you know, there's nothing particularly bright about this, I would say.
Interestingly, there's a Death Company Marine holding a missile launcher. To the
Oh,
left.
are we
of
going
the
back to the cover here,
Captain's
are we?
Falcon.
Going
Yeah,
back to the
sorry.
cover. Yeah.
I think he's just feeling particularly restrained at that point.
Shoulder mounted.
It's about to throw it down in a rage.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, if you can't get killed in battle, you can just point the missile launcher at him, just like, you know, for the Emperor.
He's launched himself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, this is great. I love this diorama. As I said, you can go see the damn thing at Warhammer World. A few of his others. And then, yeah, we get the names that brought us this legendary book.
Back when Games Workshop weren't afraid to put people's names in due to them doing a shit job.
Yeah, you know, it was really annoying that I was reading their article. They do like an article where they do the art of the previous editions, sort of like, and today, I think it was, or yesterday was Imperial Guard. They don't put anybody's, even back then, they don't, you know, even go into art back then. And I don't think they featured any Mark Gibbons artwork, which is a real shame. But I was also looking at displays earlier, and they don't even credit the artists on that.
Ah.
That sucks, because like 90% of the displays is crap. Like they've just got that, it just looks like a playing card of a piece of character art on it. But they've also got some of the covers like Titan Legion, 2nd edition, 3rd edition, Epic 40,000. That kind of like, now I'm like, now you're talking. Now you know this is what I would want on my wall. But yeah, no credits for anybody. So I guess GW's just claimed it all. Hello, Greg. Thanks for joining us, mate. If you've joined us, I hope you're having a good little trip down memory lane. And yeah, let us know what you thought about Angels of Death. Did you play Dark Angels or Blood Angels back in 2nd edition? I played against both. Had a lot of fun. I did Ultramarines back then because one of my friends did Blood Angels, one of my friends did Dark Angels, one of my friends did Space Wolves, Dan Truelock. And I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. I'll do the Ultramarines. And between them and the Tyranids and the sort of history that they had together, it seemed to work. So that was my army. But yeah, cover, Jeff Taylor, John Blanche, Wayne England, Mark Gibbons, Des Hanley, all in the artwork. William King, Jonathan Green doing your stories. Yeah, fantastic stuff. There's your contents. So you get your bestiary, you get your colour section, so much lore. And then your army lists are just sort of right at the back of the Codex. So you get sort of little bits breaking down each of your units with cool artwork, and then you get the war gear lists after that. And yeah, just great stuff. And as you can see, like not a lot of units at all. You know, I mean, bear in mind that this is obviously one side is Dark Angels, one side is Blood Angels. But, you know, with the Primaris these days, I think it's like 80 different units or something stupid like that. Back then, they didn't need that. Squads was Deathwing, Assault, Tactical, Devastator, Scout, and then your squadrons. And that's it. You know, now that is like this entire page just in squads. Absolutely ridiculous amount of bloat to the Space Marine, you know, rules, and more coming. That's cool, Greg. You can still enjoy it. You can still enjoy what used to be. Glad to see you getting into Heresy. Your Rhino looked pretty sweet. There was actually a video. I've got a video coming out very soon. I've just finished editing it, which is putting a focus on 5 channels on YouTube that aren't ours that you can use for painting inspiration. Basically, as an alternative to paying for Warhammer Plus. It's like these 5 channels are better than, you know, the Warhammer Plus painting tutorials. And one of those has just done a recent Iron Hands tutorial that I think you'll really like. So when I put that up, I'll link that to you, dude. So yep. Third Space Marine Codex. I was correct. Yep. So it was Ultramarine, Space Wolves, and then these guys, if I remember correctly.
Well, they had to have a couple of practice runs before they got it right.
Well, of course, you know, yeah. Perfection isn't always established the first time round. But yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, before this, they'd only really been tackled in a kind of rogue trader, kind of almost supplement kind of way. Not rogue trader, but what was it, the White Dwarf compendiums? So in White Dwarfs, because we talked about those books, didn't we? Like the Astronomicon and stuff like that. Matt,
Yeah, like Codex approved.
Codex chapter approved.
That's it.
And they were covered there. But obviously, this is the first time that these codexes, as it were, came into being. Before this, you just had, you know, it was still being built. Second edition did so much foundational work to the universe that is still active to these days, and it was constantly being built on in a way that expanded the universe. Whereas now, I kind of feel like the universe is being diminished a little bit, just a little bit, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, moving on. I'm not going to read all this, but look at that glorious piece of artwork there. I mean, that is just the dog's danglies on page 5, gentlemen.
Quintessential sort of Dark Angel reel, isn't it?
I mean, it's just grimdark personified, isn't it? And one of the things I've loved about going through these old codexes is just finding all this old art that you just didn't see so much over the years. I mean, I don't know if it's ever even got reprinted by GW. I don't think I've ever seen it apart from in this codex. And I've had quite a few of their artwork books, but...
Is it worrying that I looked at it and the first thing I thought was, oh, it's weird to have Horus in this?
One thing I love about this is Ezekiel in this piece of artwork, who's on the right-hand side, is in exactly the same pose as his model.
Yes, he is.
It's not often that John Blanche's designs are used for the, because you've got either Mark Gibbons or you've got Jez Goodwin doing that stuff, but here they've either John's used the model as a source or they've used John's artwork.
That's what I was wondering, which way around it was
at the source. I don't know if we'd ever know, but yeah, very, very, very interesting there. Brilliant piece of artwork, just dripping atmosphere, and that's what I love about it. And you know, I've said when we've talked about these artists in the past, John Blanche is almost like he assaults the canvas, you know, to get those textures. He flicks the paint at the canvas or whatever he's using. There's so much texture, I suppose, is the word to his work.
There's a very, very sort of organic design to it, rather than
exactly,
straight laced look of things later on.
Yeah, exactly. Really good.
I mean the Dark Angel in robes on the previous page, page 4, he looks like he's been scribbled, and I love it.
Yes, yeah, almost like a sketch. Exactly. Yeah, it's great. I mean, this way you've got a whole painting style called Blanchitsu. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just, and those articles are brilliant as well. But it's just pure grimdark. You know, nothing's even really necessarily making sense. Like this guy here, like what's going on here is. Half his face is just a metal sheet, and then you've got this guy in the background here. It's just all weird and esoteric, and it makes sense. You know, it doesn't matter.
There's so much detail though. The longer you look, the more things you notice.
Oh, that's John Blanche all over. I mean, just tiny little minute bits of detail all over the place. I remember the Tyrannid one piece that he did for the Tyrannid Codex, and I was just looking at it for hours, like literally hours. There was just so much stuff. Because he just has so much detail in these things, and these days, I mean, you think about the amount of time it took to make these. It must have just taken forever, and yeah, the artwork's not quite like that these days. So yeah, here we get a bit of stuff about the Space Marines. Very, very basic stuff about, you know, sort of the making of the Space Marines and the Primarchs and stuff like that.
Also, bottom left, that is Horus. Page 6, bottom left, that's Horus.
Oh yeah,
it even says Horus underneath.
Says Horus underneath. Yeah.
Oh, you can tell by the spikes.
Yeah, he's a spiky boy. not holding Dracnium, but without his claw. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there.
Well, it's Horus, not Abaddon.
Yeah, but the claw of Horus didn't it?
Oh, the Talon of Horus. Yeah, he
He
doesn't
took that
have
afterwards,
Dracnium.
didn't he?
Well,
So I was saying,
why are you saying that? It's Worldbreaker, isn't it? His mace. He gets
his
that
mace
in
is
the,
Worldbreaker. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even at this stage, Horus would be nothing more than that short story by Bill King, I imagine. So you know, this was the first time that I think the Horus series was featured in a book. I'm not sure if it maybe they talk about Sanguinius sacrificing himself here. Yeah, there you go. So kill Sanguinius.
Yeah, they do.
So that'd be the start of this. You know, I don't know if this is a hatred, bigoted tome that only says Space Marines could be men. No idea. Quite possibly.
Cancellation incoming.
Exactly that. Yeah. Well, it's crazy. Well, there's people speculating that like there's a female Primarch coming. But one thing that the 3rd edition Horus Heresy book did say is that all the Primarchs were men. All 20, even the lost ones. Sorry, if they're going to do female Space Marines, which they probably will at some point, it ain't going to be through the Primarchs. But yeah, here you got your successors and everything like that. Because even back then they were like, you know, make your own chapters and things like that. Don't just do these normal ones. And I remember it was around about then here that somebody did, was it the White Panthers? White Panthers or Black Panthers? One or two. Like a white and black Space Marine army. And they look pretty cool.
Pretty sure I saw the White Panthers somewhere.
White Panthers, yeah. So it's probably White Panthers. But yeah, you've got a little bit more work being done here and stuff like that. Just a little bit of expanding of the universe, which is great. You know, talking about old Rabute and his book that he seemed to forget about when he woke up again because marketing reasons. Oh, that thing I wrote that said all Space Marines needed to be flexible. Oh, no. Forget all of that. Give them all their own weapons and make them all unique because we'll sell more stuff.
Hilarious, really, given that there's a short story in the Heresy where he explains that the future of the Astartes is based on what the Inducti are doing and the flexible needs of the of having specialists in the units.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even his Primarch book brought that home. But yes, sadly, the teachings of the Primarch are no match for increased sales numbers. Let's put it that way. So yeah, we get a nice bit about the Space Marine power armor here, and you know, sort of the variants and stuff like that, and you know, it's all very.
It's this sort of stuff that really got me into 40k reading stuff
exactly,
like that.
Yeah.
The fact that there was different types of power armor, I'm like, it's so much world building, so much.
They put the time in.
Yeah, it really fleshes the world out when they, you know, it's why the Space Marines not all look the same. Why are they not a uniform army? It's because
and
it's
it
ancient
felt
armor and there's
special
different reasons
back
for
then,
it.
didn't it? It felt special. Now I don't think it feels special. Whether that's just to us because we're now jaded and we've, you know, experienced this over all the years. But it just, to me at least, it doesn't feel special anymore. I don't know if it does to little Timmy who reads about Primaris Space Marines. Maybe it does to him, but it just feels awfully generic. Maybe because we've had those sort of 20, 25 years of similar things over the years, Master Chief and all that kind of thing. But obviously we hadn't had all that back in the mid-90s, and I wonder if maybe that gives you a slightly different perception on it, you know. Maybe these days people do think, oh, that's just a rip-off of Master Chief, and you're like, oh, you shut up. This came out. You know.
Big difference is when we were younger and this was coming out. I mean, nostalgia is always going to play a part, but I think for us, the world was being developed, and for the kids now, the world is being changed.
Yeah. So it felt like it was part of something back then, and it was just a setting rather than so much of a rigid timeline that they've started doing now. But yeah, like it gets into the older variants and says, you know, they're still worn as some ceremonial guards and elite units and stuff like that, giving you your flexibility. But it was just a setting. You know, Age of Strife's mentioned here. The Great Crusade is mentioned here. We need to bear in mind this is 32 years ago, guys. 32 years ago. Sorry for everybody that I just made feel old. But yeah, great lore there. Great lore. Des Hanley piece there, I believe. That's a lovely piece of artwork. Look at that.
There's one Mark V, Games Workshop, plastic Mark V.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's only called Heresy Armor.
Isn't it?
That's a Mark
Cool
III,
payment.
a Mark V, and that's either Mark V or a variant Mark IV. Well, at least the helm is anyway on the right.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, just great stuff.
Also, it says in
And
most suits of Crusader armor, the helmet was fixed and the wearer's head was free to move inside. I remember that.
And
I'm
like,
glad they changed that.
There's nothing sterile about this photo. Do you know, like this artwork? It feels slightly off. You know, the proportions aren't perfect. It's not like a mechanical illustration that you get now. There's something ever so slightly off and goofy about it, which is just one of the things that I just love about this era of artwork and everything for 40k. You know,
So it was kind of in flux a bit while still taking shape.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's something still raw about it. I think maybe the word to use is raw. It's like when you look at like old Renaissance paintings, and it's like, yeah, there's something. It's not like the most technically photographic achieved piece, but it doesn't matter. There's a soul to it that's not so much here with everything else. So
it's kind of like an artist's impression of them rather than a direct.
Yes, very good, Karl. Yeah, and you know, yeah, like a remembrancer would produce rather than being an actual image of the thing, which is great. So they're talking about the armor here. They're saying Codex armor, which is interesting because they dropped that pretty quickly afterwards. But yeah, as you say, you've got Crusader armor, so you can't move your head and stuff like that.
Like Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like Batman, Christopher Batman. And then we get into the Dark Angels. So we start off with this, and we've got Caliban and everything like that. And there's no, again, some of the retcons recently, I think, was that some of the Knights of Caliban were ladies or something like that. And I was just like, to be expected, I suppose. But this was before anybody cared about this. Yeah, I mean, girls just weren't interested in 40k back then. They just weren't. I'm sorry, they just weren't. Seeing a girl in a Warhammer, in a Games Workshop, 9 times out of 10 they had just got lost.
Or they were just buying something for someone else.
Or they were buying something for someone else. I mean, it just was that way. I am not saying it was better back then at all, but it was just that. That's just the way it was.
It's just not even. It's not even something to really have an opinion on. It's just that's the way it was.
It's just that's the way it was. Exactly. That's it. Neither better or worse. That's just the way it was. There's certainly things about the hobby that we think are worse nowadays. Girls playing the game, I do not necessarily think is a bad thing at all. So it is just a fact of life at the end of the day. But yeah, you got your Primarchs, you got the young Lion here. This is all second edition. It's all fairly new stuff at this stage, not like these days where codexes are largely copy pasted. I've seen an awful lot of stuff that is just more or less copy pasted with a little couple of changes here. There was a couple of editions of codexes where it was literally word for word some of the lore.
I always find that so disappointing because one of the things I used to really enjoy about picking up a new codex was I was going to learn something new or learn a different angle on it. I was always fascinated. Is there going to be another angle to the story of what Horus and Sanguinius or
especially when they bring out
something
new
else
units
about the floor
as well. Like Matt said, I mean, like they brought out the new Tyranids and they brought out all that neuro bollocks, but they also brought out the one of the few things I did think was a good idea, which was the Norn Emissary. A mid-sized sort of model, bigger than a Hive Tyrant. And there's like a line about it in the Codex.
Yeah, it's so disappointing.
And I'm like, you've made this really cool model, but the way you're selling it is just through giving it broken, I don't know if they were broken in the grand scheme of things, but generally overpowered rules. Why can't you write a really cool bit of text about how awesome it is and get somebody to get in, want it in that way? Because that's, I've said so many times, like the Lictor short story in the Tyranid Codex just made me want a Lictor. I was like, this is awesome. It stalks and slaughters an entire squad of Imperial Guard, I think it was Catechans, all in its own Predator style.
When I read that as a kid, I was like, so this is basically like an alien Predator. This is like
exactly.
a Tyranid Predator. It's incredible. I really want one just to paint.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, yeah, I'm sold. And when I read the Battle for Macragge, I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like this unstoppable alien tyrannid race that in no way can you identify with at all, but you just want them because they're awesome. And you know what? I'll have the Ultramarines as well because they've mounted this famous defense where the first company was wiped out to a man, you know, defending against them and stuff like that. And
Oh, the battle for the polar caps on the Macragge.
yeah,
That was
exactly.
awesome.
Just brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. And, you know, what have you got now? You've got Leviathan, where they said at the start of the edition that Leviathan was apparently right on the edge of the solar system, and I don't think it's been mentioned since.
Well, it will be in probably a few editions when they've got some more neuro mega.
More mega, yeah, super neuro mega tyrant or something.
I wonder what the next buzzword will be, because neuro was the buzzword this time around.
It really was, wasn't it? And it was just so completely pointless.
I know it was worth it.
Never underestimate the ability of Games Workshop to make up some bullshit when they need to sell some models. But yeah, this is just telling you about the early days of the line. And again, this was all fresh back then. When you read this, you hadn't read this umpteen times before. This was all being built. This was all new. You know, there was something very formative about it all. It was great. So yeah, then you got Bill King piece here probably. And we found out about the Emperor's, you know, reaching each of his Primarchs in turn, and it was all built. And you know, I can't remember if it was covered in the Ultramarine Codex or not, but certainly back then, before the Horus Heresy was the kind of cash cow that it is now, the Ultramarines just weren't there. There was no world bearer bollocks. There was no cow for anything. Even though I really like that, and I do think they did a really good job expanding the Ultramarines' role. Back then, they were just too far away. That was all there was to it. They were just out of the conflict, which was probably quite refreshing to most people because they were everywhere else. But yeah, no, this was like the formative stuff. And then just look at this piece of artwork of Azrael. I mean, that is just chef's kiss, man. Mark Gibbons at his finest. Just brilliant piece of artwork.
Yeah, great piece of artwork that.
Yeah, I can't say enough about it. So good. So yeah, you find out about Luther and Johnson, and Luther is absolutely the bad guy here. There's none of Gav Thorpe's weird time travel-y Star Trek bollocks here either. That was so weird to read in that book, I swear.
Oh, the Luther book?
No, I don't think it was the Luther book. I think it was the last part of the Ravenwing trilogy. And they go back in time to the destruction of Caliban, and I can't quite remember because it's quite awful, but it's almost like they caused the destruction of Caliban by mistake. It was a bit Star Trek and a bit shit, and I've probably not read anything by Gav Thorpe since, if I'm being completely honest with you.
The Luther book, however, is absolutely fantastic.
Is it really? Is that a Gav Thorpe?
I can't remember. I won't give away too much of it, but basically it follows. You know, he gets imprisoned.
Yeah, he gets he's captured, because that is something that happens at the end of oh god, is it Fallen Angels? That they say they've got Luther.
They're going to get to it in the Scouring, but it's because he gets banished back to Caliban in Fallen Angels.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, so after everything that happens with the Lion, during the Scouring and the destruction of Caliban, he gets imprisoned by the Dark Angels, and it's basically him held in a stasis field, and he's completely disorientated and keeps getting woken up by subsequent chapter masters who each have a go at interrogating him and trying to get him to repent and admit what happened.
Okay, I get you.
And trying to find out where the Lion is, and he's kind of losing his grip on reality because thousands of years are passing between each interrogation, and he's seeing how much the Dark Angels are changing through their chapter masters.
Right, okay, I get you.
It's a really good book.
Might have to check that one out. I've got to admit, I was totally put off the Dark Angels by anything because of what Gav Thorpe wrote, and I also thought the Dark Angels were far from the strongest Horus Heresy books, unfortunately.
I'm a bit of I've got a different take on it. I really like them, but I don't think they're necessarily heresy novels. They're kind of precursors.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
the fact that they set up Caliban, but they kind of feel out of place in the heresy.
Yes, yeah. I mean, like, I think the Primarch book does more about the Dark Angels fighting in the heresy than the actual Horus Heresy books, if I remember correctly, because I did have most of those. But yeah, and then you find out about the Fallen and the secrets and all that kind of stuff, the secret circles. Yeah, and like Gulliman, who is in stasis, you know, you're told that the lion is sleeping, you know, in the rock, and it was all just set up for the future. And we never thought back then that the Primarchs would come back. Certainly, I didn't. I don't know about you guys, but I never thought. It was always set up as that kind of, you know, you could do it if you wanted to, but Games Workshop were never going to bring the Primarchs back until they started doing the Horus Heresy.
I've said this before. I always thought that the what was good was that the Primarchs were from an age of myth. You know, all of humanity's greatest heroes are gone, and what was cool about 40k was you was the defining person in that moment.
Yes,
your games were what mattered. You weren't. There wasn't some mega Primarch who was running around, and you know, you was just basically controlling him on the table.
Exactly.
He was gone. Yeah. He's not the hope for humanity. You are.
You are. Yeah. Yeah.
And I always found that really cool.
Yeah, that was the greatest thing about it, wasn't it? I mean, like, it was just the setting. You didn't have all this stuff. I mean, how disappointing it is, you know, like when you get the fucking Primarch of the Ultramarines on the table and he just gets shot by a las cannon and killed. Like, great, okay, yeah, brilliant, thanks for that. But this is another really, really cool piece of narrative here. Again, accompanied by another brilliant Mark Gibbons piece. I mean, that piece of Asmodai is so good.
I was going to say that's Asmodai, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so good. I've seen it in colour as well. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, this again, this is one of those pieces of story that, you know, I remember 30 years later. Sorry, Matt. 30 years later, I remember this and how much it achieves in the space of one page. And I was just looking back at that piece of story that they released today around, I think it was Sicarius. It is I, Cato Sicarius. And it just felt like it was written by AI in comparison. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it really did. I was not impressed by the writing at all. I was just like, this is just, you know, almost to the stage where I felt like I knew what the next line was going to be because it was so standard 40k kind of thing. So with that, we've got the heretics out of the way. We come on to the vampires before they got really silly and vampire-like, I suppose. So, Karl, the Blood Angels are your guys. So, you know, we've got Sanguinius here, the angel and everything like that, fighting, you know, held the ultimate gate alone when all others had fled. Slight retcon after that, I think, but, you know...
well, his moments in the Siege of Terror about that are phenomenal. I mean, he gives a greater demon of Khorne a bit of a slapping, and then
he does,
gives
and then doesn't he like go for Angron
slapping
straight afterwards, isn't he? He's like,
yep,
does a 2-4, yeah.
And he does it all with the foreknowledge that he's going to die. Like he knows it the whole time.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So does he know
how? He doesn't have all the details, but he's aware he's going to die. Like.
Is that something one of the Perpetuals tells him or something? I've got him. I've not.
No, because he's got his own. He's psychic, so he's got his own sort. He's kind of the mirror opposite of Kurz, where Kurz always saw the worst possible outcome of the future.
Right.
Sanguinius saw the most hopeful, but even in the most hopeful, he knows he's going to die, and it's But he uses that as a kind of, I know it's not here that I die, so I can kind of get away with.
Oh right, okay, so I can get away with being reckless here and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I get you. Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. As I say, I've not read this. I mean, I got put off the Siege of Terror books purely by the retcon they did with the fight in the Emperor versus Horus. I was like, that can go fuck itself, seriously, because they did it purely so they can bring Horus back if they want to. And I was just like, no, fuck you, GW. I'm done.
His soul got destroyed.
Well, his soul was meant to get destroyed, but and they changed it to the somebody put the anathema in the Emperor's hand, and then he stabs him with that, and that's how he manages to beat him. And I'm just like, oh no, you've done that so you can bring Horus back. Whereas the idea was, you know, the Emperor was literally meant to obliterate him, body and mind and soul. You know,
I'm going to be far more appalled if they find a way of bringing Sanguinius back.
Oh,
That's been
God.
a threat for a long time.
Yeah, and then the thing is, then you reduce because like you'd think like Sanguinius would have to see that as well, so you just reduce that sacrifice and everything. You know, that whole idea, which just sucks. But
Well,
another
I've said,
brilliant. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No. I was
gonna
just
say
going to talk about this art piece. You carry on, Carl.
One of the rumours is that Dawn is going to come out in plastic for 40k, and I really hope he doesn't, because it categorically states he dies in the first Black Crusade. They only ever recover his hand.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, GW always find a way. It wouldn't surprise me if they take his hand and fucking Belisarius Cool, like reclones it or something. I don't know.
What fifth element?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It comes back as the ultimate being. That's how. Newsflash.
Dallas multipass.
Yeah, I was going to say newsflash. That's how we're actually getting a female Primarch. It actually just comes back, and they release a model of Rogel Dawn with boobs and bandages. Bandages all over.
Yeah.
You know.
Rochelle Dawn.
One of his special rules is multipass.
Oh, we already got the Terminators from the Fifth Element, so we might get more. You never know.
This is true.
Is
yeah,
true.
we did very much so. Yeah, very good. But yeah, this is another great atmospheric piece of artwork by Blanche. Again, assaulting the camp because there's so much dynamism and movement in it, and it's beautiful.
I spent ages looking at that picture as a kid, and I was trying to work out is that he's got Tycho's combi melter.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the chalice of a sanguinary sanguinary priest.
Yeah.
He's got the Crozius of a chaplain.
Yep.
He's got the face mask of Tycho.
He has.
What is he?
I always just figured this is Tycho's ultimate form.
Just Tycho after he's just robbed a priest and a chaplain.
That's exactly it. Yeah. He's like, I need to power up, man. I'm going to go die here. He died. Was that on Armageddon? He died. So Armageddon, Tycho died, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah, he does.
Because nowadays nobody dies in 40k, and it sucks.
It's where I think it was 5th edition. They gave him 2 profiles, so you had Tycho, and then you had his Death Company variant.
Exactly, that's correct. Yeah.
The community called Psycho Tycho.
Psycho Tycho, I remember that. Yeah. That'd be around about the point that Mike McVeigh tried sculpting for GW, and it did not go well.
Interestingly, Tycho was actually the reason Tycho was invented was because of a battle report. There was a Blood Angels captain model that there used to be like a one-piece captain model holding a bolter, sort of like underarm. And someone in a battle report in White Dwarf played a game with him, and he got wounded by an orc psyker, but didn't completely. He wasn't taken out, and he managed to kill a load of stuff.
Yeah.
And it became canonized as he got wounded. That's how he got the face mask, and they made a model for him, and that's Captain Tycho.
So cool. Narrative,
Yeah.
GW, do you remember that? Fucking hell. So yeah, we get the same kind of thing again, basically, rather than the lion, it's Baal, and they give us some background on Baal. I'm not going to go through all of this. What I recommend you do is, if you don't have a copy of this book, you find a PDF of this book, because they are available, and you read it, because it's so brilliant to read lore here that is detailed in a way that it is passed over or maybe not even covered these days in codexes. You get a lot more detail here because this was all brand new. And these days it's like, you can pass over that and we'll sell you a book later that you can read all this in or something like that, So from that perspective, I think there's stuff in here that is... You can reread this, and if you've not read it, or if you read it, like years and years and years ago, you will get a lot out of it. That you maybe remember a few things that you missed, and certainly a few things that they've, retconned afterwards. You've got here that you've got the aspirants being taken and put in sarcophagi and stuff like that, and fed intravenously with a mixture of nutrients and the blood of Sanguinius. And I was like, is that still a thing? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it was their version of having gene seed implementation.
Yeah. And then you've got this piece here. I can't remember if this is another Jeff Taylor piece, but Dante's all in gold, and this is all red.
I've got that on the cover of White Dwarf somewhere.
Yeah, definitely quite an older White Dwarf, I think.
The image was also in several issues or several different versions of Space Hulk.
Yes, yeah, because it's Terminators, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's great, and you got all covered about the floor and everything. Right, guys, I want you to talk about this for a second, just because I need to have a bit of a drink, because I'm actually on my second stream of the evening. I just came off a stream on my other channel talking about 1995's Tales of the Crypt Demon Night, so I need to take a drink for a second.
And the soundtrack.
Oh, mate, that soundtrack. Anyway, no, I'm going to stop talking. I need a drink. I'm back in a second, guys. You guys take over for a second.
Carl, go.
It's only the second edition artwork. There's not much to talk about there,
Oh yeah, not a lot. That artwork is incredible, to be honest. That was the artwork that made me want to play Blood Angels. And I believe that Captain got re-released for a Games Day as well.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, I've got 3 of them in a blister still unopened.
Didn't they have a version with a cloak and a version without?
I
Or am I
don't
thinking
know.
of the bionic leg?
No, I think you might be thinking of the Captain Centos model, because that one does have a cloak, and the old metal model did as well. Similar sort of pose.
Hold on a moment. Didn't Tim buy like 7,000 of those from a Games Day and then tried to port them?
He and I went. I got 3, and he bought 12.
That was it.
12, Jesus.
I think he slowly sold them over the course of a few years.
Probably made a little bit of money on that. Oh, that's so much better. If anybody's wondering, that new Jack Daniels with berries in it, it's really quite nice.
Uh-oh.
Quite tasty. Anyway.
Also, bonus points for the back of that artwork. You've got a couple of Warhound Titans walking
You
around.
do,
like
yes,
the original
yeah.
version of them.
And another brilliant John Blanche piece here, where there's so much detail in the background. I remember this 3rd edition Epic 40k, all very similar. You can argue that from a technical perspective, maybe his proportions are off in places, his perspective is off in places, but this was more about the feeling of the artwork rather than being a absolutely accurate illustration copy of a model or something like that. Do you know what I mean? There was something called interpretation here, which was just awesome.
Yeah, I was
sure
just saying to Matt, that was the artwork that made me
very
want to play Blood Angels.
I'm pretty sure it was John Blanche who did the 2nd edition.
It looks very tidy for John Blanche.
Was it England that did it? I can't remember.
Definitely not Wayne England.
Or Robert England.
William King, maybe?
No, it's John Blanche.
Oh.
Yep, yeah, it's John Blanche. You can
Oh,
tell
enough
from the
about his
bits in
coffee.
the background more than anything else. But it is quite. I mean, he did clean up his. You got the difference between the concept sketches that he did, and I've got somewhere John Blanche's Inquisitor sketchbook, and the Codex cover. Sorry, the game covers that he did, because he also did the 3rd edition. And
So that's
also
that's the cover of 2nd edition.
this is 2nd edition. Yes, he did the 3rd edition one as well with the Black Templar that they released in model form, the Castellan, a couple of years ago.
So another great piece of artwork. That.
Yes, another brilliant piece of artwork. So yeah, this is definitely a John Blanche piece. I have now lost the thing with the stream in it. There it is. So yeah, just brilliant. Better in colour, but back then, your codexes were majority wise they were black and white, but then they were also like 12 or 15 quid. So yeah, it's fair enough, really. That's a Wayne England piece there. That skull, very very.
Yes, very stylised.
Very stylised indeed. Yeah. So yeah, just going all the way through your Blood Angels, your Death Company, the Red First, but reading all this stuff will just make you like, oh, that's the coolest thing ever, and I must have that in my army.
Oh, the Death Company logo there was absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it.
There's got to be quite a few people out there with that as a tattoo or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I know someone who has it.
But again,
Probably
yeah,
a bit faded now.
you got, the lore to keep you in it. And I did notice that when I read the new Dark Eldar Codex, this kind of thing is just nearly completely missing. The writing in the Dark Angel Codex Dark Eldar Codex is very generic. And I'm going to do a video about it. I was looking for something in particular, and I was very surprised that it's still there. But it is very generic. It just kind of feels like it's been written again by AI, almost using a thesaurus to use the GW buzzwords that they would use, and stuff like that. So you know, that again, really cool. You've just got these little bits of story, just a page, you know, just a page to make you really want to get into it and just be like, yeah, I really want it. And this one features a guy called Varlak. Was Chapter Master Valrak watching this by any chance?
Or a singer from Somalia.
We see your game. What was Andy Chambers' name in that game? That was something similar, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
Oh God, he played a game and he was Lord Overfiend something. I don't know if that was Varlak. Maybe you took that on. Don't know. Might be wrong. And here you've got the Space Marines, and this is actually just a reprint of the stuff from the previous codexes, as far as I'm aware. There's no other change here. We're talking about copy and pasting, but obviously, if it's the same rules, there's no need to change it. And back then you had like army special rules, but they didn't feel the need to give everything special rules. And one of the things I really loved about back then was you had these stat lines where it was a holdover from Rogue Trader, where you just had different levels of hero, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hero, mighty hero.
You know, you'd have that with the librarians. You'd see it as well, where you had Lexicanium Codicia Epistolary. And you know, you didn't need to have all this different stuff. It was just like, yeah, here's the same kind of dude, just has the same kind of weapons as everybody else. You can give them war gear cards. War gear cards were a thing back in 2nd edition, but they just had slightly different, slightly improved stats. The stats just went up a little bit, and obviously, if you were willing to pay the points, you got that better stats. But yeah, rapid fire, going all the way back to 2nd, a thing. They should know no fear. Also in
Combat
there.
squads was the bit I liked.
Combat squads was great. Yep, split them off. Put the flamer with the bolters and the sergeant, and have the missile launcher separate. Yeah, that was always great. Tech Marines could repair your vehicles, quite handy. Another Wayne England piece there. That's been repeated so many times. That one there, that is a famous little piece of artwork there for sure.
Wing skull.
The Pax Imperialis scroll, yeah, that's so good. But yeah, servitors, librarians, very similar to that piece of John Blanche artwork before, actually, in pose and everything. I wonder if he might have even based them off each other.
Do either of you remember a company called Bulldog, like Bulldog belt buckle?
Yeah, I've still got one of their. I've still got not a belt buckle, but it's like a chain hook belt attachment thing.
I've got the Aquila belt buckle I bought from them when that came out, but I always wanted that skull.
Yes,
that stylized skull, and I never got one.
No, I've got like it's like a belt. It goes over the belt, and it's got like a hook, like a ring for a chain to go on. Christ knows where it is. It's a Terminator Sergeant, if I remember correctly, like the extended Crux Terminatus.
Yeah,
no idea where it is.
I've got the Aquila and the Crux Terminatus.
Ah, the Crux. Yeah, that was awesome as well.
Yeah, that was Bulldog buckle. And that's one of the first times we got that kind of merchandise for GW.
Yeah.
I don't think we even had. I'm not even sure we had T-shirts back then.
I have a memory of going into Games Workshop Lakeside and seeing them all hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, we did. I mean, that's when I remember first seeing T-shirts. Strange enough, is when I worked for GW and when 3rd edition came out at Games Workshop Lakeside. I'm 90% sure that I would have seen you there as a staff member.
More than likely, I was in there buying Gorka Morka when that came out.
Oh man, what a great game that is! I really thought they were going to re-release that, and they did that Speed Freaks thing instead. And I was like, no, do Gorka Morka, Mad Max with orcs. It was brilliant.
That's great.
So yeah. I mean, you got and the thing about the Dark Angels back here is they weren't afraid to do the whole native Indian thing. They very much are now. So you had two heads talking. You had Grandmaster Cloud Runner, all that kind of stuff.
It's all fierce, Lone Bear.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
seem to have largely let that go, haven't they?
They completely
Like,
let that go, mate. They're afraid. They won't touch it because of claims of cultural appropriation. Simple as that.
but I always thought it was cool that they, because they don't have any one particular recruitment world, so they would go to places that have their own cultures, and that would get assimilated into the chapter.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. It made the white feathers and everything all make sense. I really like the idea that you had like this kind of shaman spirit in a librarian, and stuff like that. I've got the Warhammer Monthly that's got the story in it, both the black and white and the colour versions, and I've also got the Deathwing anthology of short stories that's got the original story
novel.
by Bill King.
Yeah, I've got that as well. I also had the story scattered throughout the expansion for Space Hulk. Definitely.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, it's the same reason
that when they decided to paint their armor bone white, like in recognition of their fallen.
That's right. Yeah. It's the same reason you'll
cool.
never see rat skins again in Necromunda. They did those Tuscan Raider type dudes instead, the nomads. Because if they do rat skins, people are just screaming cultural appropriation. It's as simple as that.
Much to Stuart's dismay, he loved his rat skins.
Yeah, I love rat skins. Oh, they were brilliant. Little bloody
so it's not cultural appropriation when it's something like the the Knights Templar or.
Apparently not. Apparently.
Right. Okay. I think I'm just too old to understand these rules.
I think we all are, mate, to be honest. I mean, I see it as being harmless. It's not like they at any stage really
I just
portrayed them in a negative light.
Beings, and it's all aspects of humanity. So
yeah, exactly.
Why not go through that?
Dude, I think context matters. Do you know what I mean? I think context matters.
Privileged, what it is. Too privileged.
You want to do a chapter based on like African tribes or Mesopotamian warriors or whatever you want, then go for it. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah. As I say, I've provided you're not like using any. I mean, I can see there's some things from GW's past that certainly people would have umbrage with. That I think is, I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see where you're coming from. If you think of like the pygmy models from GW. They're a little bit. I'm like, yeah, that maybe isn't so great. Stuff like that.
There's a difference between it taking inspiration and like mugging people off.
Yeah, I mean the pygmies are just very kind of non-flattering, stereotypical. They look like a cartoon. They're not great. Even I'll turn around and say, yeah, maybe those are better left in the past, kind of thing. But
I always think of things
largely with cultural appropriation, I don't really. I mean, it's not my culture, so I suppose I shouldn't be able to say really, but I don't see what the problem is. Provided you're not being sort of overtly negative, or relentlessly negative about that, that culture in any way. So, but
I always thought like the ancient Greek theme of things like the Minotaurs was awesome.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they're quite happy to still make the Ultramarines Roman and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I guess it comes from the position like the Ultramarines were never the Romans were never sort of the victims. They were never the subjugated, whereas your Native Americans kind of were a little bit. And we even got to the stage where Bloodstock Festival was banned from selling headdresses and stuff because apparently that makes you a wrong person if you wear one. And I'm like. You guys would hate to know that we used to play Cowboys and Indians when we were kids, you know what I mean? Jesus. Yeah. But yeah, it is one of those things. So, going on, as I say, you've got Champions, Heroes, Mighty Heroes. You've got your Interrogator Champions, which is chaplains, which is a separate unit for the Dark Angels. Matt, did you ever interrogate a chaplain? And did you give him a name?
I most certainly did, but I didn't give him a name.
That's good.
Because I never really got to use him much.
That's fair enough. So there's no
more importantly,
there's no Inquisitor Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau in your.
Was there any Dark Angel players that actually had a chaplain rather than an interrogator chaplain?
Why would you?
Like, exactly.
Yeah, seriously, stop that. It's one of the most. As much as Dark Angels were never quite for me, there were some bits about the Dark Angels I really liked, and Interrogator Chaplains was one of those. This idea that your whole mission is to make the fallen repent. I was like, that's cool. There was a short story because I got Inferno, like all of Inferno recently in PDF version.
Oh, nice.
It was like £8 on one of these Archive 404 websites. It was called, and they sell like all the old pulp comic books and stuff like that. But for some reason, they had all of Inferno. I was like, yes, having some of that would bring some memories back.
Cheeky that they sell them.
Sorry,
it's a bit fucking cheeky that they sell them.
Well, I presume they've got permission from somewhere. It was a limited thing, but they're like a legit kind of company, so they must have got permission from GW for maybe a limited thing or something. Or maybe somebody else owns the rights to Inferno. I don't know. But anyway, it was a massive memory trip, like reading these old Inferno. And I remember reading The Black Pearl was a story. I think it might have been done by Jonathan Green, actually. And that was really good. And that was another one where I was reading it. I was like, oh, man, I'm getting flashbacks. I remember this story. And I remember another one where there's a squad of Space Marines and they keep retreating, or like a few squads. And their commander just goes like, I think it's Blood Angels, and they're like, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight, and the commander's just like, no. Every time the enemy, and it's like Khorne Berserkers or Khorne or something like Khorne Cultists, like every time they come towards us, I just want you to fall back, keep falling back, keep falling back, and then eventually what happens is the Chaos guys just kill each other because they're so fed up of not. Yeah, it's great. I just like that's a brilliant little short story, So yeah, Inferno. I'll probably do some review videos for those as well because there's some really cool stories in those that are lost to the mists of time. That they might not necessarily work from a current lore position. There was a few bits like but it's a little bit off. But in general, yeah, very good stories. Imagination being used there. And as Kevin says, it was more tactical thinking than a gotcha game. Yeah, I mean, you even had like secret objectives as well. Like you'd have that, you take a mission card, it'd be like Witch Hunt or something like that. And yeah, I mean, there's a few things about Second that weren't great. And we will have a quick look maybe at a Goonhammer review in a moment that I think is a little bit harsh on the Codex. But there's something about Second that was just special. There really is. So these Space Marine scouts here, like the old scouts, doing their Adam Ant impression.
I was going to say the Adamant scouts.
Yeah.
That is from Advanced Space Crusade.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Where some
maybe that's where adamantium came from.
Maybe some traders thought it'd be a great idea to get a bunch of scouts, get a really unlucky veteran sergeant to lead them, and then go. Like Tyranid fleet over there, go and board their ships.
Yeah, your accuracy was not up to standards. You now get to lead this bunch of children and go on a certain death mission.
They really look like Necromunda and Hivegangers.
They do, yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
There was a lot of recruiting coming from Necromunda for that kind of stuff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
because not only did you have Necromundan Imperial Guard regiments, but one of the chapters, at the very least, I think it might have been Blood Angels, was recruiting. Although these are Dark Angels, but from Necromunda, yeah, there was definitely some of that going on. Because isn't Baal like a completely fucked planet full of mutants and stuff like that anyway? That was earlier in the Codex.
Imperial Fists?
Baal is, but Baal Secundus, its moon is not.
Ah, right, okay.
Well, one of its moons.
Cool.
But yeah, the Imperial Fists are the ones who recruit from Necromunda.
Oh, it's the Fists, right, okay, yeah. Yeah, another Wayne England piece here. Rest in peace, Wayne. Even here, talking about this, even in a Dark Angels and Blood Angels Codex, bloody tyrannic war, Ultramarines getting their thing in. Because it was so damn cool. And what was awesome about Terminator armor? Yeah, that's right. You got a save of 3 or more on 2 dice. If there was no armor modifier, only Snake Eyes would see you die. Because it was damn good. Plus, you always got a +1 to hit with your targeter. Plus, assault cannons were broken.
And teleport homers.
Utterly broken. So yeah, Death Company. Really, really special. Again, just like loads of the writing. I got this kind of weird thing. Like it was grimdark linked to crudity. Is it the fact that everything's so polished now and professional and streamlined in a kind of efficiency kind of way that takes away from that grimdark? Is that one of the things that makes the Warhammer 40,000 universe these days seem less grimdark than it ever was before? And sometimes I'm like, yeah, that is part of it. But then I look at stuff like, I don't know, say for example, Trench Crusade, where those models are incredibly high fidelity, and yet they still carry a grimdark look. So
Yeah.
Oh, the Artillery Witch.
Oh man, just some of the models they've been knocking out, and some of the stuff that I've been told is coming up, which I am doing a video about soon. There's so many videos to do. I've been ill this week. Is yeah, there's some cool stuff coming, and they've just done the diverse plastic unit as well, and that looks really cool. The Prussians. So yeah, the Raven Wing. That's what makes the Dark Angels special as well. I mean, how cool is the Raven Wing? Just such a cool idea. The Jink rule that's persisted for so long, and the Death Wing, which apparently the bloody Blade Guard are part of now because reasons.
Apparently not.
No, I'm always going to maintain Deathwing or only wear Terminator armor.
Yeah,
I personally agree, but again,
You can have your silly Blade Guard as being like your company champions or something.
yeah,
or
totally. That's the way I get it. I
veterans.
mean, sort of GW. Sort of just want to sell the models. Let's be honest. That's all there is to that is unfortunately all there is to it. And as Kevin says, yeah, the story has gone grim hope. From the very start of 8th edition, where Guilliman comes out of nowhere and magics up 5 million fucking cool Primaris bullshit Marines to reinforce all the chapters. I was just like, oh, oh, there goes, there goes humanity's last stance kind of thing. Dreadnoughts, proper dreadnoughts, not the pot-bellied bastards we get these days.
I love them. I love dreadnoughts.
With all of those rules. Yes, Karl, why don't you tell us just again, in case we've got people watching that don't know, how many dreadnoughts do you have, sir?
I have recently gone over 100.
Absolute fucking madman.
I can field an actual company's worth of dreadnoughts.
Actual psycho. Love it. Love it. Yeah, dreadnoughts are so cool. So cool.
The last two I got was the Saturnine Dreadnought and another Contemptor.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I'd take a photo sometime, dude. I mean, stuff like that is just as inspiring as anything GW does, in my opinion. Like, when you see stuff, and even now and again you pick up like something from GW, but it's normally from the community in one way or another, and it's just like, yeah, it's so inspiring.
I put it down to deprivation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I could never afford a dreadnought when I was a kid. I could never get one. So when I got my first job, the first thing I bought was a dreadnought, and it just became a bit of a thing after that.
And you're still not satiated. You're still like, I need more dreadnoughts.
Nope. There's still dreadnoughts in the world I do not own, and I must have them all.
I must have them all. Yes, exactly. Do you have any Chaos dreadnoughts? Because you could put that in a sock and kill somebody.
Yes, I do. One with a Power Scourge.
Yes, the Power Scourge. Yes, when you got a rape.
Power Scourge and Plasma Cannon.
Yeah, that's the one. Absolute beast of a model. Yes, you got the Whirlwind here again. Malfunction table, awesome. Sometimes shit just wouldn't go your way, and you know what? There was no re-rolls. None of that bullshit.
Did the Whirlwind come in with this book, because it's got its own page here, and it's got a data card later in the book.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think this is the book it got introduced with.
This is indeed the book the Whirlwind got introduced. You are absolutely correct. So yeah, blast markers, brilliant. Love Whirlwinds. Always had one in my army. And then we get some actual colour pages. Good lord.
You see some sunglasses.
Honestly, I mean, compared to most things, these aren't that bright. Even Goblin Green wasn't that bright. But that was the archetypical GW second edition, base. Paint Goblin, cover with sand, bit of PVA, Goblin Green, dry brush sunburst yellow because it wasn't any good for anything else. There's your second edition base, basically. And that was exactly the way that I painted all my second edition Tyranid army, like the Gene Stealer bases and all that kind of stuff. Because I think Gene Stealers was the first box I ever picked up for Games Workshop models. I played Space Hulk. I was like, this is awesome. These Gene Stealers kick ass. I want some. And I got 6 for a £5.
Nice.
I don't know if you guys remember what your first ever models were.
Yeah, it was the. I think he was a Tech Marine, like a Rogue Trader era Tech Marine.
Okay.
Came in like 3 pieces.
Cool. Cool.
Upper half a body, lower half a body, and a backpack.
Okay, nice. Matt, cast
Probably
your mind
either
back.
a squat thud gun or a screamer killer.
Slight difference between those two models, but I appreciate the fact that you might not be able to remember exactly.
Screamer Killer,
the,
also known as
the
the Tyranid Dreadnought.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The thud gun got pressed into use for my Dark Angels because the models were the same. It's just different crew.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Cool.
But yeah, those are my first models.
Screamer
in
Killer was
metal.
brilliant, but when you put the two parts of the body together, there was such a fucking gap.
It was a pain. in the
Like
arse.
people think it's hard to do things these days. Back then, you had to pin models, and you normally had to fill in a load of gaps. The
Oh,
Dark
man.
Elf Dragon, like, I swear it was 90% green stuff. It was ridiculous. Yeah.
Did you notice on the Angels of Death, like this page where it's currently on the screen and the page before?
Yep.
If you look at all the successor chapters, they're all just variations on the main color scheme of the main chapter.
Yep.
Yeah.
And its specialist units.
Yep.
So if you look at the Angels of Absolution, they're basically power armored Deathwing.
Yep.
The Angels of Vengeance are Ravenwing on foot.
Raven Wing, and then the Angels of Redemption are a mix of the standard Dark Angels and because I don't know if the Angels of Vengeance. I don't know if the Dark Angels had. Yes, they did have black armor in Rogue Trader, didn't they, Matt?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And then
it
you've
could
got
be a
the
carryover from.
things like the Flesh Tearers and Angel Sanguine on the Blood Angels one. They're just wearing the black of the Death Company.
Yep. Well, I mean, if you're going to have that as a success, then you want to have something to do with that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
but
ultimately where
it
things
visually
go
ties
completely
into
out
the
the
specialist
windows
thing about that chapter.
with some of them.
It's just an interesting idea.
Yeah, that it does.
But yeah, all your successes there and everything, very cool. There's that Asmodee, please.
In all its full colour glory.
That on the wall. I don't even do Dark Angels, but chef's kiss, Mark Gibbons. And I'm gutted, absolutely gutted, that none of your work is being featured by GW in this art retrospective thing that they're doing. They can't even use the excuse that there's no colour pieces because we're looking at one right now.
Yeah, that Asmodee is definitely a display, isn't it?
It's
it has to
absolutely
be.
stunning. And you know what? You can't get that as a display, I don't think, because I was looking at them all the other
Really?
day. Yeah, because I was thinking about getting some displays because I've got an offer at the moment, and I do stream on camera from time to time when I want to torture people. And I thought some displays in the background would look pretty cool, but this Asmodee piece isn't available. In fact, a lot of the displays are shit, putting it bluntly, unfortunately.
It's a shame because on the whole, they're a really decent product. I've got about 6 of them.
Yeah,
we
they
used to
are
have-
decent products.
I mean,
I might have to get you to send me a few photos, Matt, like the size and everything, because I want to sort of work out how big they are and stuff. Because you can get like the normal size ones, was like 50 quid normally, but they're doing an offer at the moment. You buy 3, you get 35% off. Use code Grumpy Grognard Gaming. That's
That's
true.
what we always did.
That's not true. But they do like bigger size ones, like large, but then they go like 75 quid each. And I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, I've just got the normal ones.
You've got normal ones. You have to send me some pictures, man, so I can see how big they are. But they're like A4 size or a bit bigger.
They're bigger than that. More like they're not A3, but they're not A4 either.
So they're in between the two. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Not too bad, I suppose. Quick look at my wall.
Yeah, I think mine are up in the loft because they sort of occasionally fell off the wall onto the wife because we had them above the sofa.
Jeez.
So when I took one down, it kind of I stuck the magnet on a bit too well, and it took some of the fucking paint off the wall.
Yeah,
So-
this is the other thing I was wondering. Sorry, chat. Just to quickly diverge from the Codex. I was wondering that because we've got that weird paper, that Artexty kind of wallpaper, and I was like, is it going to fuck up the wallpaper? Because
Sounds like I'll do you a favour if it does.
well, indeed, but yeah, I have to pay for it when we move, so I don't want to do that.
I think they've since changed. The
Right,
adhesive
okay, because it was saying on the website it's like super friendly and easy to
Yeah.
remove, and I was like, yeah, but is it really?
Yeah, and after that, the wife was like, "Take these fucking things down." And so they're actually up in the loft somewhere. I have to try and find them.
Damn. Okay.
But no,
No
we had
worries.
like a Predator one, we had an Alien one, we had like an anime one, which is all subtly done with outlines and whatnot. Like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
they're-
I was. I mean, there's a load of them on there, but I was disappointed by a lot of the 40k stuff. It's kind of very modern style 40k, and a lot of them look like playing cards for some reason.
That might be because GW sell their own at Warhammer World.
Oh, do they? I didn't know they sold
Yeah.
displays, but I know they sell artwork because the artwork isn't
20
much
times the
different in
price.
price, which is why I was looking at displays.
Yeah, some of the artwork they do on metal plates.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, to be fair, on displays, it's not directly on the metal. It's like a metal sheet, and then they've kind of like printed on.
Embossed it.
Okay.
Yeah, they've printed on something and then just folded it over.
Yeah, the embossed ones again it's quite a bit more expensive. The numbers started getting silly, but yeah, I did think I was getting some just to have in the background for when I do streams and stuff. So yeah, look at this, guys. Proper chapter organisation. No Primaris in sight. I know they were non-Codex, and I didn't really care. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Just
your
make
first
them
and
more
your first and your second companies go out the window, but it's all good. You got Deathwing and Mavenwing instead. But yeah, other than that,
what's cool is when you're first getting into it and you want to get an idea of how big a chapter is, it tells you exactly what the makeup of that company is.
exactly. Yeah.
So if you're the kind of guy who really wants to paint 100 Space Marines and do a full company, that's your template. That's telling you what there is.
Yeah. I had the second company. I had the second company of Ultramarines completed, and I had to choose. It took me ages to choose another one to do. I was like, no, do I do black shoulder pad rims? Do I do red, green?
I could tell
I
you.
think
got
red was third
green.
company, fourth was green, and then black was fifth. I think I went black, if I remember correctly. But yeah, absolutely. And you've got your checkered and your symbols and everything here. Very, very old school. Not so much of that again now. But so simple. So simple. 6 tactical, 2 assault, 2 devastator.
30K. It is in 30K.
The standard post company was third company, wasn't it, for Dark Angels?
Yeah.
With the horizontal, with the diagonal red stripe.
The diagonal red stripe, yeah exactly.
Yeah. They're more fifth.
But there's no battle line, there's no Phobos bollocks or any of that stuff in here. It was just tactical, assault, devastator, more or less the same bloody armor mark.
And they straight up tell you how many Marines are in a company and how big a chapter is.
Exactly. And now it's so nebulous. And the whole idea was to stop Space Marine armies from getting to these huge, ridiculous sizes. Oh well, never mind. Let's have a look at some miniatures. They're not very bright, Matt. They're not bright at all. Look at them. The highlighting on this Devastator squad is a lot more than the other squads, though. They were not painted by the same person.
What always made me laugh about that Devastator squad is if you look at it, there's 2 Marines on the bottom right that they clearly lost the models for that squad and put a couple of plastic snap-togethers in.
Yes, yeah. This one here and this one here. Yeah, totally right. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, they're not even those aren't painted the same as the other models. Look, you can see the difference. As soon as you get to these, there's 5 here that are highlighted really strongly with really dark greens, and then there's 5 here that have been painted completely separately. And then these assault squads are very basic.
I mean, it's such a minor gripe, but it always found it funny that I could tell that they put 2 plastic models in that squad.
It was one of the things that was a bastard about doing huge armies back then. It was my Ultramarine army took me like years and years to develop, and because I was developing my painting as time went on, the blue successively got darker and darker and darker. And I was like, oh, shit. These are my old.
For anyone who played 3rd through 7th edition, look at that assault squad and count the number of specialist weapons in there. Like there's 2 power fists, 2 power swords, a hand flamer, multiple plasma pistols.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I mean, back in those days, you absolutely jammed your assault squad full of war gear. My guys had loads of loads of plasma pistols. I took as many as you could.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but when 3rd edition came out, there was actually an article in White Dwarf that said if you go to Games Workshop with your assault squad, they'll give you the sprues for the new assault squad to change out the pistols.
Oh wow!
Because you can't have all these mad weapons in an assault squad anymore. So here's a bunch of bolt pistols and chainsaws to replace them all out.
Well, imagine if they did that with the Horus Heresy when they fucked that up.
Yeah.
Wow. Or the Sisters of Battle when they changed the fucking squad composition.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, like the what is it? The ones that just didn't exist all of a sudden.
No, it was all of them.
What?
Like even the Battle Sister squads, you could take I think you could take 2 special weapons per 5 models, and then they changed it to 1. in the next
okay.
Codex, and it was like, you fuckers! Now I've got to find more bolt assisters from somewhere.
Sons of bitches. Absolute
Innit?
sons of bitches.
That Dark Angel's tactical squad. It's also the sergeant in there was the Dark Angel only. He was like a Dark Angel unique sergeant because
That's right. Yep.
every chapter had a unique sergeant you could buy.
Yep. You're right. Yep. Yeah, just awesome. Yeah, I had 2 huge assault squads for my Ultramarines. Yeah, just brilliant. And it was really weird because assault squads were like the most popular unit that GW sold back then, most popular blister. Because
They just look cool.
You needed 5, so you just sold loads of them. But yeah, it's great. Army badges back then, just so many cool little details.
Oh, the campaign style badges.
Yeah. I'm gonna put those on the Ultramarines as well. Azrael. I've got to be honest. As much as I don't like the new Primaris stuff, the new Azrael, apart from his stupid bullpup Stormbolter thingy, was absolutely knocked out of the park. Absolutely incredible model. Really
I've
nice.
always thought the Dark Angel characters were done really, really
They
well.
were all done really well. So shame they didn't do Ezekiel.
Not yet.
Yeah, look, I mean, he's the one that I'm looking forward to the most to get Primaris.
I'm kind of expecting Samael to show up at some point. Now they're showing off the White Scars jet bike guy.
You would think so, but I mean, he's going to need a grand old jet bike. He can't just get away with being on one of those. He's got like a custom built fucking thingy, hasn't he?
His jet bike model was absolutely amazing, and I love the lore that it was the last jet bike.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which again, kind of gone out the window now.
Whenever anyone told the customers, they just sort of glanced at each other and smirked. Like,
Exactly,
no comment.
Yeah. It's like, they've got all these jet bikes and everything, but the law was that they're all stuck in the Emperor's Palace. What do they do? Just racing round on jet bikes.
To be honest, when I first saw the jet bike model that they came out with for Samael, I was like, is he riding a Battlefleet Gothic cruiser?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Dawn Eagle jet bike is one of my all-time favourite 40k models. I think it is just an absolutely incredible piece of kit. I love it.
Is that what it's called?
No, the Custodes one, sorry, is the Dawn Eagle.
Oh.
I love that model. I've got 9 of them in my Custodes army, which is fucking brilliant. I don't know what Samuel's jet bike is called. Matt should know.
Stable Claw? That might be his land speeder that he used to have.
Yeah.
Yes, he had that came out just before, didn't it? That was.
It has got a name. I know that.
He had like a double heavy bolter and a double assault cannon.
Yeah.
And a book on the front.
But again, you got your markings and everything here. It takes you through all your honour markings and your squad markings and all that kind of stuff. And you remember when they did Insignium Imperialis, the book? Unfortunately, for the Ultramarines, I think. But that was really good. And obviously also Index Astartes, of which I have all 4. Or was it 5?
5.
That was a holy grail for me. I've got all of them.
The thing is with all this was telling you, this is where you apply your transfers. This is where they go. This is how you delineate your squads. It was all details that I'm not sure they do this sort of thing anymore.
I don't know, in all honesty. I imagine not, because it's much more nebulous as to what squads things are in. Like, is it a Phobos squad or Gravis squad? And like they always change your armour and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, God.
Well, that's interesting. Sorry, top right there, Master Banners.
Yes.
Company Master Belial, Shale seems to have fell off, but Company Master Samael. There you go, Belial and Samael.
Yep.
I was literally about to say, Belial is not the Master of the Death Ring yet.
No.
In this book, no. He is in Storm of Vengeance, I believe. I think he's the one who leads the Pacina campaign.
The Pacina campaign against the Orcs, yeah. I love this chaplain model as well. It really got some like really old bits to it, where it's got like this kind of, I don't know how to describe it, like this bumpy gold texture on his legs.
Oh, like bobbly stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like the bobbly kind of texture. That makes you just feel really old, like artificial arm or something.
I'm a massive fan of the Terminator, and when I saw him, I bought him immediately. Like he was.
Terminator Chaplain, still one of the best models they've done. Still one of the best models they've ever done.
I have no interest in the Primaris stuff, but if I can get hold of that Chaplain they did, like the Primaris Chaplain with that, I'll get him just to paint. just for the bionic face.
Brother Bethor.
When you said Terminator, you meant the film, didn't you?
Yes.
It just clicked.
Yeah, bro. I had Brother Bethel. He was painted as a blood angel, but I had him.
I'll let that slide because I've known you a long time.
Three
right?
sacred standards, like banners in fantasy, where they all did different stuff.
Oh, Retribution, Devastation, and Fortitude. Yeah.
Very cool. It's a really good trip down memory lane here because I remember some of this stuff, but I don't remember all of it. I don't know about you guys in chat and everything, how it is for you, but
those different standards lasted quite a while.
they did, yeah.
Yeah. You could actually take them as specialist abilities, couldn't you?
Was it 6th? I think they lasted till 6th or 7th, maybe.
Couldn't tell you. I can't even remember what edition I skipped. It was either 4th or 5th. I just finally had enough of G&W for a little while.
I tell you, Jeremy Vitok did a great job. With the
He
6th
did,
edition.
yes. He did do some great stuff.
I even emailed him and told him. Which is something I've never done for anyone else at Games Workshop.
Yeah,
I was
great
like,
contribution from that American chap.
yeah, I was like, clearly they work on the naming convention. It's first name dot last name at gwplc.com. So I just emailed him. And he actually replied and said, oh, thank you very much. Because I asked him a few questions and he was like, yeah, well, I kind of got moved off of 40k stuff after that. So I'm not really in a position to ask the guys anything.
In all honesty, I think it's probably still the same.
Yeah.
Last name, first name, gwplc.com, if I remember correctly.
I think most companies have that there.
Wasn't this Dreadnought new at this stage as well? Because before this, it had like a circular missile launcher. I think this might have been the start of the...
Yes, he came out with that. He was a later one.
That's what I thought.
I'm not sure about all the green and red on it. Looks a little bit weird.
Yeah, I
was
mean,
a
you could stand
kind
to
of
maybe
colour
change some of the
convention they
red
stuck with, didn't
to a different colour, maybe, but...
Yeah, with my Dark Angels, I ended up doing most of the weapons grey instead of red because red was just a little bit too in your face.
It's so cool seeing Dreadnoughts with banners, though. Everything was banners. Banners everywhere. That was second
They're
edition.
bringing back banners, aren't they, with a lot of the Primera stuff? Because the Stern Guard have them, and so do some of the Terminators now.
Yes.
And Sicarius has one.
It is I, Kato Sicarius. Yeah, bring back banners for everybody. It was great. That's how you knew who to shoot. Dark Angels, Razorback, Plasma gun and lights cannon.
I never ever saw that Razorback in real life, ever.
No.
Did I actually have one?
You worked at the shop, so I would hope so.
Can't remember. Long time ago. Long time ago. Another old school piece here. Look at that land speeder.
Yeah, that was the War Gear book cover for second edition
You
as
are
well.
absolutely correct. So cool.
Those things were an absolute prick to put together.
They
in metal.
were the
Speeders,
worst.
they were an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, the old, what they're now called
They're called
Proteus land
Proteus,
speeders,
aren't
aren't
they?
they?
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, I had one. Yeah, it was. It wasn't as bad as the one that came after it, though.
Yeah, the one with the canopy was. Oh man, getting that thing straight was horrific.
The second edition metal land speeder was something else.
Yeah, that was horrible. It had like the little fins that went on the side, and the engine was that block that was two halves, and you had gaps all between it.
And none of it was ever cast properly.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely horrific. Blood Angel chapter organisation, oddly enough. Pretty Codex. But then you had the Death Company on top, and it's just like,
Yes, 10 veteran assault squads in the first company, or 20 Terminator squads.
Yep. Because back then, Terminator squads were only 5. I don't think you could take 10-man Terminator squads back then.
No, they capped out at 5.
Yeah. And they still came in at about 400 points by the time you paid for all their weapons. And then if I remember correctly, you could give them deep strike, teleport homers, but it's like an extra 20% on top.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was nearly like 600 points by the time you finished putting your Terminator squads together. It was crazy. And then, just the same again as we saw before.
So the Blood Angel Sergeant in the tactical squad is actually, he was inspired from the artwork that you will see later in the book.
Yeah, as you say, each chapter got his own. No... Well, I want to say no standard slot of Marines here, but I think there might be.
Yeah, there are. There's
Again,
two in
those
the,
two there, aren't
Devastator
they?
squad. There's two snap togethers in the.
This is before
Devastators.
Photoshop, guys. These can't be photoshopped, so you know.
I did like the sergeant in the Devastator squad with the power fist. I always thought he was a really cool model. He's another Blood Angel unique sergeant.
Yes, I love that guy pointing. I have him as well. I also have the guy with the power axe, but I don't know if something went wrong with the moulding, but his head is really narrow. Like, you know, those models are kind of two-dimensional anyway because of the nature of spin moulding metal models. But his head was like so narrow, you blatantly couldn't fit his head in it. So yeah, I've still got that knocking. I've got a load of Metal Marines knocking around somewhere. Absolutely loads of them. Yeah, that sergeant is very, very cool. I love that. You know, and these Space Marines look fine. We talk about Space Marines. I think what happened was this is like peak Space Marine, and then something started to go a bit wrong. And by the time we got to 5th, 6th edition, they started getting really squat and kind of dumpy. And they did kind of need a bit of a reproportioning, but not Primaris. I think they should have just literally just reproportioned them. They didn't need all the additional armor plates and stuff like that. This was fine.
Chaos Space Marines were reproportioned pretty well.
Exactly, yeah. Well, if you remember, they also did the same with Death Watch beforehand. The Death Watch were just a little bit taller, just a little bit.
Yeah, they put them in Mark 8 armor, didn't they? They're all inherent armor.
And yeah, I think they just need to do that because if you look at this chaplain, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the proportions on that, in my opinion. Nothing wrong with the proportions on this guy. Yeah, it's.
I believe that's the chaplain they used to convert up the Legion of the Damned commander as.
I think you might be right. It's also, if I remember correctly, the one. Do you remember Mike McVeigh did a I can't remember which chapter it was, but it was a Space Marine chaplain on bike fighting an Exodite Eldar.
Yes.
On one of the very first Lizard Men Seraphon things. A cold one, that's it, the cold one, sorry. And yeah, he used that, he just chopped off at the waist and used that chaplain. Another great model, I've definitely got one of those somewhere. Although I think his Crozius is snapped off, which is a shame. There's old Tycho. And some Terminators. Interesting enough, the Blood Angel Terminators on Games Workshop's website have just been removed. Now, let's just take a second, guys. Tomorrow is Warhammer Day, apparently. What do we think, if anything, we're going to see? I've speculated that we may see Space Hulk because Tacticus has been doing a Space Hulk, well, it's actually on now, a Space Hulk survival themed event.
Well, there goes my money.
Well, yes, exactly. But I'm like, what do you think, guys? Just to take a segue for a second, and you can chat for a minute because guess what? I need more Jack Daniels. Take it away.
I'd love to see Space Hulk. I think there's been a lot of rumours about plastic Primarchs, like for 30k or Heresy, and I'd be interested to see where that goes.
I'm just sad I'm at Chessington all weekend.
World of Adventure, get on the vampire ride.
Is the vampire still a thing? I remember that when I was a kid.
It was last time I was there last year. So
Mr. Burp's Bubble Works is long gone, I can tell you that.
I can't remember that. I was school visits when I was a kid as well, man. Bloody hell. Chessington used to go there for the school trips quite a lot. And you can't complain, Matt. It's your fault for spawning.
It's my wife's fault for booking it. I just it'll be good fun.
Yeah, I would love to see Space Hulk. It's a bit weird because we've got Blood Bowl right on. You know, I mean, they've been doing so much coverage on that. I kind of think it's this week's pre-order coming up. We've got this weird Warhammer Quest, not Warhammer Quest thing coming out where it looks like it's one board, or it's been suggested maybe like a book, and you turn over the pages and put your models on the pages, which isn't particularly Warhammer Questy, unfortunately, in my opinion. So whether or not we get room for Space Hulk, I don't know, but I'd love to think that, you know, last year was its anniversary, they didn't bother. I'd love to think that the signs we've seen that Warhammer Plus model, sorry, not Warhammer Plus, Warhammer commemorative model of the Gene Stealer wrecking a Blood Angel Terminator. The Blood Angel Terminators have just gone off GW's website.
Life Signs terminated.
Tacticus have got this event going on, you know. We've got new Gene Stealers. We've got new Assault Terminators on the way. I would really like to think that we are going to get Space Hulk as a surprise announcement tomorrow.
Well, they've done new Space Wolf Terminators, haven't they? I can't, and we've had
Yeah,
Dark Angels ones.
Yeah,
I
Blood
can't
Angels is
see.
the only ones they haven't done.
I mean, the Space Hulk Blood Angels Terminators like redefined how good a miniature could be for Games Workshop in 2009.
Oh god, yeah. At the time, absolutely 100%, Carl. I could not agree more. They were, I mean, Space Hulk in general. That edition of Space Hulk was the gold standard. Those boards, those
we played it on
embossed
my birthday.
boards,
yeah.
have never been beaten.
Yeah.
Literally, they have never been beaten. Those embossed boards, they are the gold standard. That is such a premium quality product. And you know what? Like what? 15 was it? 2007?
Don't do the numbers.
2009 and then 2014 it got re-released.
2009. So 2009, the only thing that's broken is the sound timer. It's just given up. It's just stopped working. Just like, yeah, whatever. Everything else, you know, is just it's such high quality that everything else is just absolutely pristine. And actually, me and Karl played Space Hulk, didn't we, at Warhammer World?
Yeah, it was on my birthday.
On your birthday, yeah. And that was great. We even had people coming over like, you know, Space Hulk, wow, man. So I would love to think that they're going to re-release it. It'd be expensive as fuck these days, you know. It's GW. But I'd buy it.
I'm both hopeful and mildly mortified at the idea of them re-releasing Space Hulk because I don't, as much as I'd love to see a new edition of it, I don't trust that they won't fuck it up.
Don't fuck with it. Just don't fuck with it. Don't break it. No, it's fine. Space Hulk is absolutely fine, exactly the way it is.
Until
I want that first mission to feel like hell.
Suicide mission, yeah.
Yeah, the suicide mission. Don't go changing a damn thing. Keep it exactly the same. Don't try doing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel here.
No interest in them re-releasing it until they re-release the Terminators because I thought they're going to fill it with aggressors or some other.
Oh god, no! I mean that would be a deal breaker for me, Karl. Really would. I equally hope it's not just some stupid kill team box or something like that. That would be an insult.
Yeah, well,
and if that happens, then I will immediately.
I'm a bit worried.
Yeah, exactly. If that happens, I will immediately start working on Space Sulk Part 3. So I'm really hoping that that's not going to be a thing. But yeah, I just thought I'd bring it up. I presume we're going to see more about this Warhammer Quest thing. And, you know, they're not doing a reveal show. They've stopped doing reveal shows by the looks of things. I don't know if it's just because everything gets leaked anyway or if they're just expensive to put on or what. But I imagine that there will be some Warhammer community articles during the day that have been scheduled and will go up with some cool stuff of some description. And then from then it's kind of the build up to the December kind of. They do like an advent calendar normally, don't they? Where they show off a little bit of something and then have a big reveal on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So fingers crossed Space Hulk is on the way and people who never got to play it get to experience that amazing game that I think Jervis Johnson designed.
No,
it was Halliwell, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Halliwell. Richard Halliwell designed that one.
It. Yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, hopefully we get to see that. And as I say, there's some signs there, but never overestimate the ability of GW to let you down. Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment. Talking about Def Company, there's some Def Company.
Love them.
How cool do they look?
It's so cool, those models.
Yeah.
I made entire tactical squads just out of those models because they had all the Blood Angels guff all over them.
Yeah, really cool. Again, just something, you know, you could be like, oh, maybe that power fist is too big. It looks stupid. It's like, yeah, but that's the idea. That's the idea. It's so over the top. It's so stupid, that power fist. It's meant to be like that. It's meant to be, you know, sort of something that will just tear a guy apart.
Yeah, I mean, the plasma pistols look like a Marine holding a brick.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, but it's you know, it's part of the charm, and
the chaplain in the Def Company squad there is actually the chaplain who's on the artwork on the cover.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's him.
Every time you see a skull.
The only thing that, you know, I think you can just cast at these models, if you excuse the pun, is the fact that they do tend to be just a teeny bit two-dimensional because of the nature of spin casting. You know, that's the only thing really. They're all standing either side on or kind of square on. There's not much dynamism behind them, but design-wise, And
Explain it.
details wise, I don't think they can be beat. I really don't. I think they're just absolutely stunning.
Boy,
Here's
Caster
your
Boy,
upgrades.
explain it.
Sorry, say again?
Explain it.
Explain what? Spin casting? Well, yeah, okay. So basically, spin casting is you have two parts of a mold, like two discs. You have half the model in one side of the disc, you have half the model in the other side of the disc. You then put that together, and there's holes in the spin mold where you put in molten metal. Now, molten metal actually cools down really quickly. So what you have to do is you have to spin the mold in a machine to use centrifugal force to get the molten metal to all the different parts of that mold before it cools. That's why you get flash from the middle, because sometimes it doesn't quite lean up so much. These molds only last a certain amount of time, longer than silicone resin molds generally, but still they've got a lifespan. And that's why the majority of models that come out of a spin mold have that two-dimensional nature, because you've literally got two halves that need to go together, so you can't have things sticking out perpendicular to the model, because then you're not going to get the mold correctly. That's why so many metal models have that kind of two-dimensional nature, and if they did have something sticking out, it would normally be a separate part that you'd have to cast separately.
So basically, explaining how spin casting works, it's like explaining how the T1000 works. It can't form complex structures, but it can form knives and stabbing weapons.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's limited. There's still some people. I mean, warlords still use it. You know, it still has its uses, but it had its limitations, certainly.
I think the industry's moving on from it, especially with things like 3D printing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, with things like 3D printing and even Cyocast, there's no need to use metal models. It's an anachronism. It really is just like a prestige, a historic thing. You know, I would say it's on the way out. I don't think there's any advantages that metal gives you over any other material, if I'm being honest.
I'm still amazed the yearly model at Salute is metal.
Again, I think that's purely just a nod to the historical nature of what they do. Tin soldiers, you know.
Yeah, very possibly.
It's like Conjurer releasing their current album on tape.
Exactly. Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of.
Quick, find the cassette.
With does it come with a pencil to wind it all up afterwards if it goes to Pete Tong?
No.
But yeah, I mean, it has moved on. Excuse me. Plastic has got better and better as the time's gone on. Metal is outmoded now. I always have a soft spot for it. Lol. But I just there's other stuff now, and even resin I think is again it's quite a problematic material. And when you can use Cyocast, which allows you to recycle a certain amount of it, there's a certain percentage of Cyocast that you can reuse, provided it's used with pure Cyocast. Then I just don't think there's much more of a need for metal. I think it's a holdout from a couple of traditional companies, and probably easier maybe to do if you're like a small operation. It's not too hard to get that kind of equipment and stuff. And
That's how GW started, isn't it? When they had a little shop.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even resin pours aren't hard to do if you've got a vacuum machine. It's quite easy to do vacuum stuff. Whereas plastic is a whole different thing. The tooling is super expensive and super intricate. You need to get the settings exactly right. You need to get the dimensions exactly right. You talk about hundreds of sort of millimeters of resistance either way. Tolerance, that's the word. Tolerance. It's a completely different thing, but it's getting cheaper and easier to do as time goes on. And there's lots of companies that offer that service. I mean, Trench Crusade's new plastic models are getting made by Archon Studios, who's basically Prodos renamed. So I don't see metal is just it's a rose tinted glasses kind of thing now.
Well, that being said, these Blood Angel characters, these metal ones, were phenomenal,
stunning. I love Dante. Brilliant model. Great. I also remember him falling off of a 9-inch tower we made in Necromunda. Ben's Dante. The models back then weren't always very stable, because they were metal and nobody thought to put, because like the bases weren't. You had a slaughter base. So you had like a piece of plastic running along. Well, it'd be along here where there's a metal tab. So you couldn't really put like a penny underneath or something like that. So quite often these things were bloody top heavy. Gargoyles were a nightmare for it, spinning around on their flying bases. Corbulo, now there's a model. That is an all-timer for me.
Look at the face on Corbulo, and then look at the CAD ones you get now.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Absolutely ridiculous. Very good point, though, Karl. Let me just go to the streaming software and use the magic of Zoom.
Interesting to note that that Corbulo model gets used multiple times for different models.
Yes,
like the actual frame for him. Sergeant Centurious.
Yep, exactly. Yep, was that on that armature is the word you're after.
That's the one.
Back in those green stuff, hand sculpted days. Corbulo's just brilliant. Lovely, brilliant model. Mephiston's good. I think the new one's even better though. Again, that was another one where they updated it with the new Primaris, and I have to say, that is the bollocks. You've just done
awesome.
A 1-for-1 on the Mark Gibbons artwork. Just brilliant.
Yeah, I got for a birthday one year. I got enough money that I went down to Games Workshop in Southend and I bought every single Blood Angel metal character all at once.
I worked there as well. Fucking haunting me. Yeah. I mean, they were brilliant. Those characters, like £6-7 or so, I think, back in the day.
They were £4 each when I bought them.
And yeah, they were just great, and so much character there, man. I mean, some of the new stuff's okay. As I said, the updates on the chapter masters and everything, they were really good. I thought they were excellent. Mephiston was brilliant. The new Dante is very good. Azrael, absolutely, brilliant. Asmodai had a bit of a problem with the stupid smoke coming out of his backpack, but other than that, it's not too bad.
Yeah,
it's optional. You don't have to put it on. I didn't put it on.
Interestingly,
oh, that's good.
We have technically had 3 Mephiston models. And a lot of people don't realise one of them.
Fantasy Vampire doesn't count.
So you've got Mephiston here, the metal one.
Mm-hmm. You've
got the Primaris one, and in between them there was another one, and it's actually the Space Hulk librarian, Brother Callisterius. That's Mephiston before he becomes Mephiston.
Holy shit, guys! How's that for a bit of deep trivia? See, chat,
yeah.
You don't get this shit anywhere else.
That's Brother Callisterius. That was his original name.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah. It's I didn't realise it until I was reading through, and I was like, Callisterius, I recognise that name. And when you read his entry in the Codex, it says he was Brother Callisterius.
Oh, that's really cool. I did not know that. Nice one. There's that horrible bitch-ass land speeder that we were talking about.
Oh, the brick.
Yeah, that thing was an absolute prick to put together.
And any time you took it anywhere, that multi-melter would bash off when you transported it.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, just a nightmare. Like this chair assembly, and you had like these little space marines with their little bent plastic legs that went in there. Actually, no, I think they might be metal legs.
And the pilot who perpetually lost his left arm.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, a nice update on the old one, but again, a little bit too much. And as you say, the Whirlwind making its first appearance by the looks of things.
Yeah, it was a great model.
Yeah, loved it. Loved the I always loved the Whirlwind. Had 2 in the Ultra.
I love the little Marine poking out the top.
I've got the it was just his head. It's almost like that little cat meme, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Yeah, and when they updated it, I made sure I got one of the updated ones as well when they squared off the missile launcher. Blood Angel Dreadnought before the Furioso, that came out a bit later.
That was the Dreadnought that started my craving for Dreadnoughts.
This is it.
That's
the first one.
Yeah, and I have him now.
Yeah, just awesome. Awesome. And then there you got your War Gear cards, because back then you had War Gear cards and they gave you some in your Codex. And this is how you can make things very, very expensive very, very quickly. But as you said, Matt, we've got the different banners here, which is just again another little awesome little narrative hint, bit that you could do. You could give your commander the Death Master Sanguinius. I presume he lent it to somebody, just all these little cool little narrative bits that you could put in. And this is why enhancements just aren't the same. You need war gear back, proper war gear. You felt like you could build your own character. And I can't overemphasize how important and how cool that felt at the time.
Yeah, so interestingly, like the Lion Helm, Sword of Secrets, Book of Salvation, Blades of Reason, they don't have to be given to the special character. They just have to be whatever's going to be used as your Supreme Grandmaster.
Exactly, that's what I say. So, you build your own. It's like even the Death Mask.
So if you wanted to make your successor chapter, you could totally do that.
Yeah, Death Master Sanguinius, given to any commander. Just great. So you could make your own names. I mean, you could do that anyway. I encourage that kind of thing.
But you could have different combinations of war gear, not necessarily the standard loadout of that character.
Yeah, not the approved. Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was some that I think you couldn't change it on, or some pieces that you couldn't change. But yeah, there was a lot more versatility. And then you had the amazing vehicle rules, which the guy in Goonhammer complained about. Saying it was too abstract and too annoying. But I was just like, dude, really?
Is he a fan of 10th edition by any chance?
I don't know. Who is it? It's this guy, Greg Chazon.
Not sure. I'm not a goon man. I guess to criticise things for being too annoying.
Well, quite. How was it? Yeah. It's just a bunch of extra steps to get to the same result. Rube Goldberg asked game design. Yeah, fuck you, mate. You showed me the game that you've developed. But the thing that really pissed me off is like somebody called him out on it. And this is one of the things that really bothers me about Goonhammer is their attitude to this stuff. And there's this guy here just saying like, what does this even mean if you've ever actually played a real role-playing game? This guy obviously likes the old school time of things. He's not particularly rude or anything like that. You deride things like rolling on a vehicle damage table as Rube Goldberg-esque. But what it actually is the minimum level of complexity meant to reward maneuver, warfare, and positioning as opposed to mass dice rolling.
Yep.
Bravo, sir. And then Greg just comes, you're doing a bit here where you actually Grognard freak asking for a friend. And again, the guy comes back being quite reasonable. You don't like it. I think it's a refreshing break from the smugly sarcastic backup character from the Office bit you and hundreds of other instinctively interchangeable personalities like so much. So answer the question. And just goes, nah, get fucked.
Wow.
Yeah, it just sounds like typical condescending dick.
And I'm like, you know what, like, dude, let me just move that a little bit. And I'm just like, you know what, dude, like, you're the author of this piece. You are, like, there to be challenged on what you have created. You have presented this to the world, and just because this guy doesn't like it, you're, like, getting all hostile and, militant about it. And strange enough, it was exactly the same as when they bitched off about the Horus Heresy, the last edition of the book, being transphobic because it said about men and genetic or whatever. I can't. It's so fucking tiresome. That attitude just has me going. Well, basically, you're a cunt, and I don't like your material. I don't like what you have to offer. If you can't do these things maturely, then do you know what I mean? Just go, seriously, So yeah, Goonhammer. Strange enough, probably not going to get a Christmas card from them. Also, don't care.
Even still right for.
I don't know. This is like 4 years ago or so, but I can't see that they've changed that much. It's a shame because they do like good stuff, but when you've got that attitude, I'm just like,
Want to read it?
Yeah, I don't want to. I'll go get the information somewhere else. I don't think you attack your readers like that. You've.
I don't mean to be arrogant or anything, but I've been into this a very, very long time. I like to think I'm somewhat of a knowledgeable authority on what I talk about. I don't need the opinions of some head-up ass guy who thinks he's better than what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when he comes in with this kind of like Rubenesque type thing, and I'm just like, are you being a pretentious prick on purpose? Like,
yes.
This was even back then when he was writing this, it was like nearly 30 years ago, dude. Just stop being a fucking prick. Like the guy said, this is kind of the minimum that was required to put across the narrative feel of the manoeuvring land speeder and what could go wrong with it.
Well, compare it to Rogue Trader.
Compare it to exactly that. Compare it to Rogue Trader, dude. Yeah. exactly. Rogue Trader will make your head spin.
You can see the evolutionary leaps that have been made to get here.
And me and Matt covered all of this, going through like the Astronomicon and the White Dwarf compendiums. You can see it's fascinating, and we've got retrospectives about that on the channel, guys. You can see the changes. You can see the way that the game has evolved rather than de-evolved, which is what I firmly believe has happened with, like, 9th and 10th.
I was going to say, 8th edition.
But this was great, from my perspective. So yeah, I totally didn't agree with that Goonhammer bloody article. I was just like, no, dude, like, I kind of like. There's a few things about second that were over the top. Like combat was a nightmare. Doing combat was a nightmare. That system should have been left for characters and duels. And I fully accept that. If you had 2 big squads, it took forever to do the combat. I get that. That could have been streamlined down. But the vehicle rules, I refuse to budge on. They were awesome.
I still think that it's the game transitioning from like a
transition from an RPG to a war game,
a role-play skirmish game into an actual war game. And
exactly.
I don't think it becomes an actual war game until 3rd edition.
I agree. Yes, this is very much a transitionary period. This is very much a carryover with a few elements from Rogue Trader. What I like about this is that this and 3rd edition feel so different. So if you want to play that quicker game, you've got 3rd edition. It's right there. And if you want to play a more evolved version,
really does feel like a completely stripped down version.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's very gutted compared to what 2nd edition is, but then it's done for a reason. You can see why they've done it.
Well, because the thing is with 2nd edition, as time went on, they break every edition they bring out, and by the time you got to the end of 2nd edition and you had something like the Chaos Codex, it was getting very clunky. And that's why you had to redo it. And they were like, look, the psychic phase is taking forever, so that's why we kind of need to get shot of that and kind of stuff. And I discussed all of these things in my employment interview at Games Workshop, which was held at, I think, GW Basingstoke, I want to say, upstairs.
Seems random.
Sorry?
Seems random.
Yeah, well, it's where it was. And I was told that basically, because we were each asked to give our best ideas of what we would do with 6th edition. It was about a year before 6th came out. And I was just, saying certain things that I thought would streamline the game a little bit. And he was like, look, you've more or less nailed what 3rd edition's going to be. And in hindsight, I don't think any of those things were particularly bad at the time. But as time's gone on, it got to, again, it's kind of its final form with stumbles along the way with game design. And then when they got to 8th, they were like, yeah, we just kind of want this e-sport, wipe everything off the table kind of thing now. And that's just, again, evolved to 10th. And I don't see it getting better from 11th, unfortunately. It might do.
Instruction manual. It's just going to be an IKEA instruction manual.
Yeah, I think so. So, yeah, they say here, a 1,500-point battle will normally last an entire evening. 3,000 points will give you a battle that will take most of a day to fight. Can confirm. 2nd edition was not quick to play. Really wasn't quick to play. But there was so much going on. There was so much cool stuff happening at all times.
Also, looking at this book, it's very clear that it's not aiming at the same demographic that Games Workshop is now aiming at.
No,
but this was not designed for children.
No, and as I've said again, when I worked at GW throughout the end of 2nd edition, throughout 3rd edition, we would say that if you were under 12 years, you were too young. We would actually just say that. We'd say, look, I like that you like it. Come back when you're a bit older, because there is a lot involved. There was some maths and stuff like that, and we would use the maths to sell it to parents. We'd say to parents, be like, look, this gets your kid gets him thinking, gets him using his brain, looking at these tables, working out dice calculations and all that kind of stuff. And the parents would be like, oh, wow, that's cool. It's better than, just rotting his mind with console games, which would be the comparison we would put it against. And these days, I honestly don't think you can really make the same claim because you don't do anything with army building or anything like that. It's
history done in blocks, though.
It is just blocks, and in these days, the game these days is something that 8-year-olds could probably pick up. And you might say, look, that's maybe a good thing, and maybe it wasn't good that it was exclusionary back in the day. But the thing is, we lost out. We had to put up with Baby's first Warhammer. If you want your youngster to play a version of Warhammer, then I'll tell you what, make a really simple version of Warhammer just for them. Really, really simple. Edition. You know, an actual rule set that's just. And unfortunately, they didn't. It was called 10th edition, and everybody had to play it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, we'll always have Horus Heresy, and you know, there's nothing stopping me from going back and playing 2nd edition if I want to. I did. I played a few games of 2nd edition ages ago, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I've always, whenever I complain about like I don't like this edition or I don't like that, there's always someone who pops up and says, well, if you don't like it, you can always play the older one. And I'm like, yeah, that's never been a concern. What is a concern is finding an opponent who's also willing to do that.
Exactly, yeah. And that opponent might have models that don't have rules for that edition.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was about to say. Or you end up fucking around trying to sort out rules for stuff because it's too old.
Yeah.
Like I'd really love to replay the Badab War as a campaign. Now, who wants to play the Badab War? And then what edition are we playing it in? Because we're not playing it with any Primaris, because it is, at this point it is a historical event.
Yep. Totally with you. Yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the hobby is yours. It's always been a loose framework and everything like that. But the more time it goes on, I mean, you know, these are the days when you would get a cardboard cutout in White Dwarf, like a template to make a bunker. You know, you would make a cactus out of a polystyrene ball and some cocktail sticks painted green. Games Workshop used a Star Wars Rebel cruiser as a piece of scenery in the Space Wolves versus Tyranids battle report. Now they sell everything, so everything is GW's way. That's one of the problems, is that you don't have that flexibility you used to have. It's not so much just the framework. It's now a lot more restrictive, especially with the competitive side, where your army changes every 3 months, and you're like, fuck me, am I using the most recent version of the rules and stuff like that? You know, just even here, like 50% of your army on characters, boom, done. At least 25% must be squads, 50% on support. Bang, there you go. That's your lot. Sorted.
Do you know what? Every now and then I think about like the combat patrols, and I always think, do you know what? I'd love to actually get a combat patrol and just play it as a combat patrol. But then I realise it's going to be 10th edition, and I'm just like, no, I'm all right.
Yeah, great idea, combat patrols.
Because I really like the Emperor's Children box.
Yeah, it's good.
But I don't want to play 10th edition.
Yeah, I get that. No, I totally get that, man. I mean, I'm already at the stage where I don't really engage with the lore or playing of 40k, but there's still these nice models that I like, and therefore I buy them. Like I bought the what they called, the Sanctifiers box set.
Oh yeah,
because I like those models. Yeah, they're a little bit different. It's not just more bloody Primaris Marines or whatever, and yeah, they're quite nice. So I got those. Kevin, we don't sell Land Raiders here. Here's how to make one out of a World War I tank in 148 scale. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You just you found a way. How old were you when you were playing in the shop, by the way, Kevin? Were you under the recommended age of 12? Or I mean, God, there's one stage at GW. It was like just a drop-off point for ankle biters. It's like, please just.
Yeah, it was for me. I was 8 when I started playing in store.
It's like, please just go away. No, I'm not going to wipe your ass. Fuck off. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it has changed. You say demographic is vastly different now. And you've got certain people that want. I mean, it was Norn Queen Kaya, I think it was, posted something earlier. Like she wants Warhammer to be like that Dungeons and Dragons pick that we were all talking about. Fuck off. Fuck right off. Fuck off forever. Please go away. I don't care who you are. Come and play Warhammer, but don't change it. Don't change it. Just fuck off, please. You were always welcome, but you didn't want to just come and play. You wanted to change everything. You wanted to.
If Warhammer is for everyone, then it's for no one.
It's for no one, yeah. Warhammer is not for everyone. It's for anyone. That's the idea. It's for anyone. You can come and play, but you come and play it because it's Warhammer. You don't change it. You don't, It's such a weird thing. It really is. I don't get massively into it. 12, I was playing with the brothers of friends. He was chapter approved. 12 years old. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, if you were 8, you said you just kind of dabbled with Rogue Trader, so it might have been just slightly before. But yeah, 12 was the recommended one. If parents would come up to us and say, look, he's a little bit young right now. Certainly he can, he can stay and watch and stuff like that. He's happy to do that. But we recommend 12 years old before you get stuck into it in any real way. But yeah, it's beautifully simple back then. Squad, army building. You know, it was up to you if you wanted to take the minimum amount of squads. You might struggle later and stuff. You know.
Got a story on that later.
The lion and the wolf sideways for some reason. Thank you very much. Combat squads. This is the one where the lion punches out the wolf, isn't it? Or is it the other way around? The wolf punches out the lion.
Lion punches out the wolf.
The lion sparks out the wolf. Yeah.
War gear lists. Look at that. Oh, it's so beautiful. You want to give one of your characters Terminator or Stormbolter, Target, and Chain Fist? You can do that. It didn't matter that GW didn't sell that exact model. Nobody gave a fuck. Sorry.
This is back when you could actually order parts individually in White Dwarf.
You could, and we'll get to that at the end of the Codex, because I believe they had them at the end, like the metal bits that you could order and stuff. Terminator heavy weapons like Hellfire shells for your heavy bolter. Certainly, sir. 5 points.
A specialist weapon or special weapons, a bolt gun.
All the different grenades. Plant grenades in here? No, they weren't. They must have been Rogue Trader.
Yeah, they were gone by this point.
I'm going to make your forest disappear. Shit.
Yeah, photon flash grenades, though, and blind grenades.
Yeah, blind grenades. No toxin or hallucinogen. But yeah, dreadnought weapons, and then there's your army list. And again,
oddly enough, if you look at the dreadnought weapons, you could take a lightning claw with built-in heavy flamer, and the only model that had that was Bjorn the Fell-Hounded.
It was Bjorn the Fell-Hounded. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which recently went up for sale again. To be honest, GW put him up. I presume in metal. But yeah, it's all here. So you've already had like the bits talking about your squad choices and how cool they were. You're already like, yeah, I definitely want it because you've given me loads of lore on it, and now it's like, yeah, bang, here's your rules. Here's your simple, rules and points. Done. And that's how you put your army together. You know. Death Squad squad, 340 points. Jesus. Devastator squad, 300 points plus weapons. Mental. But that was for a full squad of, all of them. Just brilliant. Yeah. Tactical squads. Tactical squads are highly flexible. Hear that, GW? Highly flexible and tactically adaptable. Fuckers. Sorry.
Well, they still are. But you just can't take them.
yeah, true. Oh man, that's from the War Gib, or is it the Battle Book? Matt, that Raven Guard piece. That might even be the Silver Shadow type thing, right?
That's the front cover of the vehicle manual.
Vehicle manual, that's the one. Yeah, vehicle manual.
What I found kind of interesting was they in second edition there was no way for you to take a Dark Angel spike that wasn't Ravenwing.
Yes,
you could in later books.
Yeah, I mean, really, they should all be.
Company could use spikes and things like that.
They should all be Ravenwing. You wouldn't want your normal Circle of Secrets or any level of the Circle of Secrets. Dark Angels accidentally rushing ahead and getting to the Fallen by mistake. Ravenwing was actually, there was 3 books, I think it was of Gav Thorpe did for the Dark Angels, like his main trilogy, and Ravenwing was the first one, and it was actually good. I really enjoyed it. Had some cool. There was one guy, like, he wasn't supposed to see on the Ravenwing. He wasn't supposed to see one of the Fallen. And it's like, do we kill this guy or do we promote him? And they end up promoting him. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of rivalry between them and stuff like that. There was some good stuff that Gav Thorpe did back then. Gav Thorpe, I thought he used to write great stuff. I mean, I really liked his Last Chances novels. They were brilliant. The stuff he did for Inferno, I was talking about Inferno earlier, was very good. But he seems to have lost his way a little bit now. I even liked his Chaos books. He did Claws of Chaos, and again, that was another trilogy with some guy who was like an Imperial dude who turned to Chaos. It was quite good. But yeah, allies, tarantulas. No thanks, I've got 50 to the right of me, sorry. Land Raiders.
Rapiers. Space Marine Land Raider. Oh, it is in there.
Yeah, it was in there, yeah.
I think by the point this book had came out, they'd actually discontinued the
Land Raider discontinued the model as far as I was aware, yeah.
And then released the Awesome one that replaced it.
We didn't get the Awesome one until 3rd edition, I think.
For 2nd edition, we didn't actually have a Land Raider.
Didn't have a Land Raider, no. So yeah, here's all your rules for your war gear and everything. Just you have to dig out your bloody cards. Showing off that artwork again because why the hell not? It's so good.
There's a number of special characters who never made it past second edition, and there's two in the Dark Angel section.
Yep. And there's Saffron, Grandmaster of Chaplains, Finder of Secrets.
And Brother Betha,
Never got
bearer
a
of the
model.
Sacred Standard.
Never got a model.
Yeah, Saffron never did.
No.
Interestingly, Saffron was the Grand Master, and Asmodai was just an interrogator chaplain.
Yes.
Like he wasn't
yeah.
anything special. He was just an interrogator who happened to have been fairly successful interrogating the Fallen.
Yeah, I think in that short story I was mentioning that Asmodai's got like 3 black pearls in total, like over the hundreds of years that he's been doing it. And that's kind of like what the aim of the story was. Like this young interrogator chaplain has got a black pearl quicker than anybody else. But it turns out that the Fallen that he got to repent was kind of trolling him a little bit. So falls victim to his own hubris. And then the Blood Angels right afterwards. And again, just a bit of repeated art, but there's all your rules, all your tables.
That veteran sergeant art is fantastic.
It's great, isn't it? Yeah, love that. That. I want to say it's Mark Gibbons, but I can't see his signature, so maybe not. Very nice, though. Very, very nice.
Veteran Sergeant is definitely Dirty Harry.
Yes, yeah. I saw that. Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very cool. I'm just loving this, man. So cool. And just look at the relatively small amount of units and stuff that you had in comparison.
Something cool here. Death Company. When you look at the Death Company, there is no upper limit on how many Space Marines you can have in that squad. You can only have 1 unit of them, but technically that unit could be your entire army plus a HQ.
There is no formal unit size or maximum size for the Death Company. Could you then combat squad them off, though? Or
no, you can't combat squad them. But here's the interesting thing. It almost encourages you to take a massive unit of them because you can equip the entire squad with jump packs for 1 set price. So it doesn't matter if you have like 5 models or if you have 50.
Look at Karl breaking the game. That's 200 Death Company and the jump packs for them for 0.2
points or something. And you can equip them all with whatever you like, really.
Yeah, that was pretty standard. I mean, you could have. I mean, that's
insane.
What I had. Some of my assault squads were like absolute like Death Stars, just packed out to the nines, which made it even more sad when they died. Sort of like falling into like on their jetpacks, falling through a bit of terrain, going splat, which was something.
What's funny though, with the Death Company is if the chaplain, even if he dies, they all go off in random directions. So you could have 50 Death Company just sprawling across the map.
Jesus Christ! I want somebody to actually
like
do
the scouts
that.
in Age of Empires, just sort of going off exploring the map.
Oh, we should do that. That's brilliant. That's so cool. Literally just an army of Death Company. Just literally acting as one, and then somebody snipes the
rampaging lunatics
snipes the chaplain.
Filling the board.
It's all right.
Yeah, awesome. And if you give them jump packs, they're doing it even faster.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. Give them all melter bombs.
Melter bombs, power fists, hand flamers. Why not? Just go nuts.
Madness. Yeah, I never noticed that before. And like I don't think you got FAQs back then, so that'd be it. That was your rule for the edition. It might have got fact at some point, but
it's because they fucked it with the front cover. They were like, look at the front cover, wall-to-wall lunatics in black armor.
Yeah, exactly, and only 1 chaplain. We need to represent that. Yeah, just awesome tap bikes. This is before the new bike models came out as well. They came out later, so it was still been like the slightly wonky bikes.
I love them.
Conversion fields. Ooh, Veteran Sergeant Clutin.
Yes, you may remember him from Blood Quest.
I was going to say, well, it wasn't quite Clutin. It was very close to that spelling.
Yeah,
yes, he did appear in
it
Blood
was
Quest. You're
meant to
right.
be. I think it was a mistake, like a typo.
Yeah.
But that was meant to be him.
Ah, that was such a cool series, Blood Quest. Shame they never got to finish it. They never got to finish it, and also they started Inquisitor Series 2, no, Series 3, with what was his name? The Interrogate had to go back and because basically the Inquisitor turned to Chaos in season 2, and season 3 started with Interrogator, whatever his name was, and he had to try and it was Garvey or something to redeem his Inquisitor's master's soul and reclaim it. And unfortunately, they never got to finish it because Warhammer Monthly ended with issue 83 or something. I've got them all downstairs, every single one. Titan as well was another one that was supposed to get more stuff and it never did.
What was the name of the Imperious Dictatio?
Imperious Dictatio, yes.
Yes, I may or may not have made a model of that.
Yeah, the old Lucius class.
Yeah, I loved it.
Warlord. I love that comic book series. It was so good. There's so much cool stuff in there. One Monthly had a few duff bits, but in general, some of it was very, very good. It's a real shame it got cancelled. Right, yeah, Mephiston.
With for some reason, moved 2 inches faster than everyone else.
I do wonder sometimes if that was available in colour and how good it looked.
I think it's probably better in black and white.
I think so as well.
I don't know, I'd say that, but then I look at the Asmodee one and the colours in that are incredible. And I do wonder how we might have done this in colour. Mark, if you're watching, let us know.
Cool piece of
art. Stunning stuff. Mark has got a Facebook page and he's quite... I was thinking about... Because I think Jugs did an interview with him recently. Louise and Rob's podcast. I meant to check that out.
I thought you said Jugs as in like the old lads mag.
It's JUGGZ, and I'm not going to lie. That is where I came up with CHEBS from. Chatting hobby, endless bollocks and stuff.
Homage.
Chebbage. Amy, Chebbit card. Never forget the Chebbit card.
Something she'll never hear from us.
No. Yeah.
This podcast.
I doubt she tunes in. But you see what I mean about the proportion here? Like, this is by John Blanche, full of atmosphere and everything like that. This is a very rough sketch. The proportions on that leg are totally out. But it didn't matter. Nobody cared. It looked cool. Red Grail.
I love some of the stats are just completely off the wall with some of these. Like Brother Captain Tycho, for some reason, has a ballistic skill of 7.
Why not? Do it.
Of course, why not?
Yeah, madness. I mean, it's 104 points. Digi-lasers. And then your little advert at the back for the other stuff.
Yeah, are these all the codex that had already came out? I don't think...
No. This is the 3rd codex, so some of these are still to come. Matt, we've covered Eldar, Imperial Guard, and now Angels of Death. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Have you done Chaos yet?
Apparently, we missed Dark Millennium as well, so we need to go back and do Dark Millennium at some point. Because that's a big one to miss. I can't believe we missed that. I can't wait till we get to Tyranids. That's going to be amazing.
Do it next.
We could do, to be fair. We were rolling a d6 for it, but I mean, we're getting to the point now where we're quite likely to roll things that we've not done, that we've done already. So, we could do Tyranids next. I don't know if you want to join us in that one or not, Karl. It's up to you.
I will probably need to get a PDF copy. It's one of the ones I'm missing.
PDF copies are readily available. Our librarian, Matt, I'm sure can get you a copy. If you'd like to join us, mate, you're more than welcome. Tyranids Codex, sure. I think... I got Ultramarines and Tyranids Codexes when I first started. I can't remember which one I got first. Going by the state of them, because I got a new copy of the Ultramarines to replace my old one, it's probably Ultramarines. But yeah, I loved the Tyranid Codex. Absolutely brilliant. And as you correctly said, Karl, you could order bits back then. So if you wanted to put Dante's Inferno pistol on another Marine, you could bloody well do it.
Well, the big thing for a lot of Blood Angels players was getting Commander Dante's jump pack, because it had like the Blood Angels icon on it, and putting it on all your Assault Marines. Because it cost the same amount.
I get you. Because I mean, like,
back
then,
it's the same price as a normal assault jump pack. So why not just mail order a load of Commander Dante's ones?
Back then, the factory was quite literally a load of blue tubs. It was a load of blue tubs on just on shelves lined up, And as a staff member, what you could do is you could go to Warhammer World and you could buy models by the weight of the metal. So you pay, at the time, it was £20 per kilo of white metal that you put in one of their mail order boxes. So you'd go along all the tubs going, right, I need 5 of them, boom, 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 boom. 5 of them, boom, 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 boom.
Fetch me the Thunderhawk.
Yes, indeed. Bribe Ted for with a bacon butty to try and get the pre-order stuff that was like in tubs down by his desk, and then take it all up to the scales where somebody would weigh it and then get you to sign something saying that you'd have that much taken out of your wages next month and that you'd be eating noodles for a month. And it would totally
Oh Lord, it's Super Noodle time.
Yeah, exactly. Because like a Space Marine would work out like 5p. And the worst thing is you'd get home, and when you get home you'd realise that you'd picked up like 20 Hormigant left arms and forgotten to pick up 20 Hormigant right arms. And you'd be like, oh fuck it, well, I guess I'm going back to Warhammer World then and signing up another load of my income.
Back on the train.
Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Well, we actually normally just got somebody to hire a car and just shared the cost between us, or somebody just had a car and drove, and we paid petrol money or something. But it was great because back then the staff were also allowed to go around the studios. I don't know if you're allowed these days, but we'd go around the studios and we'd see all the stuff, like all the greens would be in the cabinets that people had worked on.
All the free ups.
All the free ups and stuff. Yeah, obviously the scale of, I don't mean the scale in the models, but I mean the amount of models that were being produced were vastly reduced back then, so that you could just go around and see in the cabinets all the new stuff and stuff like that. And phone cameras didn't exist, so nobody was going around snapping photos of things. But I remember seeing loads of stuff before it came out that was all there. Good times in general. I think with the second edition days. Yeah, it's had its problems, but we loved it anyway. There you go. Blood Angel Sergeant. I love that Space Marine Sergeant there. That one, that generic one. He was just
it's very cool.
Really, really cool. Definitely had him.
Interestingly, in this book is Marnius Calgar.
Does not compute.
Yeah,
I think we can go with that.
Calgar, Master of the Ultramarines.
I'm guessing, if I'm being honest with you guys, I'm guessing that's because these are reprints of White Dwarf pages. So I'm guessing that's the reason behind that.
Terminators with banners.
Yeah. So it's just all Jez Goodwin's cool stuff. I mean, I love that Terminator Chaplain model. I've got that somewhere. The new one was kind of an update of that. Yeah.
They've pretty much always done cool Chaplain Terminators.
I had all of these Chaplains. I don't know if I still do, but they're all brilliant. I mean, Jez was the man. Jez was just the fucking man. It really is, and still is. I'm not going to. I'm sure he's be coming up to his well-earned retirement soon, having more or less finished off the Eldar. Maybe he's going to be doing another little Dark Eldar refresh before he goes. I don't know. GW, please re-release the Dark Eldar sketchbook, you bastards. I've got the Eldar one signed by Jez. But yeah, Deathwing Terminators, Space Marines, Cyclone Missile Launchers, the broken assault cannon. Jesus Christ. That was such a broken weapon. Up to 9 shots. And it was like,
yeah, it was mental.
Strength 8 armor penetration. It's just ridiculous. Just mow down everything. And the Space Wolves could take more than one in a squad.
Of course they could.
Wankers. Absolutely horrific. Yeah, as you say, got Ultramarine Captain there. So this is all reprints from White Dwarf. But yeah, awesome.
I always loved the Veteran Sergeant models. I thought they were really, really cool.
They were awesome, yeah. And this Jump Pack Sergeant's really cool as well. Although one of the problems with these models is sometimes they'd snap off the tabs because they're just connected by these very little bits, and that'd be a pain in the arse. There's a lot of Eschers, the original Necromunda Eschers that used to do that as well. But look at these armor variants. Look at that. Oh, dude.
Yeah, didn't they release some of those as Armor Through the Ages?
They did. They released like a set of some of them. I don't know if it's these ones or not.
Mark 2, 3, 4, and 5 with Thunder Armor as well, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I didn't realise they were this old actually, but yeah, that's cool. I think I've got one of the Maximus armors somewhere. Looks very familiar.
Yeah, there was
Although a
also
lot of these green stuff things were always based on the same armatures. So if you look at the Space Marine Mark 7 4 armor, it's got the same legs as the Maximus, for example. So
yeah. And the Errant Armor Marine was the only example of his type for quite some time.
correct,
as well.
yes, that with the raised gorget. You're absolutely right. It was.
Yeah, he had two things that made him slightly different. It was the raised gorget and the the waist cabling was covered by an armor plate.
Yep, correct. If I remember correctly, the Devastator Marines had look, they've got like different legs.
Yeah, leg stabilizers.
Leg
Chunky
stabilizers. Yeah. So awesome. I really should put my second edition stuff together, but I don't get around to painting the stuff that I have got.
It made me laugh on the previous page where it said examples of completed jump pack assault troops, and one of them's just casually carrying a bolt gun.
Like you do. Yeah. I don't think I ever did that. That seems like a bit of a waste of time, but yeah.
Blood Angels veteran assault squads could do it later on, and they had a thing where they got it was like a type of relentless, so they could basically always like shoot and move.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
So you basically had a high speed sniper squad running around the board.
Bloody hell. Here's an example of how much of a bitch that land speeder was.
Central body never lined up properly.
Yep, exactly. The gap between those two was always bloody horrific, and that had to go over the top. The seats went together okay, but once you tried to put this and this, it was just ruination all round. Bloody
I don't
horrible.
think the Dark Angels land speeder had come out by this point, had it?
No, it hadn't. No. But at least the flying bases worked, so yay. And as we say, this was the first stage that we got this rocket launcher. Before this, they had this kind of weird circular thing. But again, you've got the Space Wolf stuff here. And yeah, you just basically fill in your form, send it off to GW, and then you get a lovely box packed by mail order trolls. And look at that for a last bit of colour there. Look at that absolutely glorious battle scene. Isn't that the bollocks?
It's the most second edition battle you could ever imagine.
Isn't it just? That's just absolutely magnificent. Back in the day, the Tyranids were all different colours by units, and this is the secondary colour scheme that they had for Tyranids, the kind of space hulky one, because the Hive Titan they had for the first one had like greens and reds and stuff in it, and they did the second edition or second version of it that was these more purpley colours. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
brilliant.
Mephisto may be in a spot of bother there.
Yeah, I think he might be in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, those were the days. That Khan effects. God, that was another thing that was a nightmare put together. The two body bits never went together properly. The claws were fine. These were one cast pieces. But this...
I saw one get thrown across the room in Games Workshop Romford.
Jesus. You put a hole in the wall?
That's not far to throw it.
It's not. That was a cupboard. That place was a cupboard.
Yeah, that was like local.
Yeah, someone threw a tantrum and threw it, and it went into like where all the blister packs were.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a hefty one. That. Yeah, I've got two of those in my Tyranid army waiting to be put together. Actually, no, I think I've got 1 3/4, and the reason I say that is one of them's missing a claw. So I might have to 3D print something like that at some point. But yeah, that was Codex Angels of Death, guys. A special book, back from the day.
Even for its day, one of the better codexes.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think any of the second edition codexes were bad. I think they're all great in their own way. But this was a special codex. It was great. I got to see this a lot because, as I say, two of my friends, one did Blood Angels, one did the Dark Angels. This was great. So I think we'll do Tyranids next. Something a bit different. We've done, the other, done Guard, Eldar, and now this. So we'll do Tyranids next, and then maybe follow that up with Ultramarines as a two-parter kind of thing. Because obviously you've got the Battle from a Crag. And then that'll leave us with Orcs, Space Wolves, Sisters of Battle, and Chaos, the big old Chaos Codex, which was an absolute beast when it was released in 98. 7 or 8, I guess.
It would have been 97 third edition came out, so it would have been before that.
Was 3rd edition 97?
I'm pretty sure it was not. No,
I think it was
might be- no,
99. Because I was working for the company on release day because it was mental because I ran 64 intro games on that day. Which, as far as I know, is still a record because nobody would be stupid enough to fucking beat it.
Were they just 5 minutes each?
They were more or less like 2 turns. Now go and buy your copy, please. We made, because Warhammer Thurrock Lakeside was like a premium along Lakeside Plaza in Oxford Street. We made a ridiculous amount of money on that day. I was very good at selling core games, probably because I was so bloody enthusiastic about it, which is why Dave stuck me playing intro games.
3rd edition was released in October 1998.
98, okay. Yeah, so we'll get on to 3rd edition eventually, but I want to do all the 2nd edition codexes and obviously Dark Millennium. And then we'll work on, and we won't cover all the codexes for every edition. It'll take forever, but I wanted to do them all for 2nd because it was just so formative for me. This is the edition that I remember, you know. This is the one that I remember most fondly, and you know, as you say, you can say it with rose-tinted glasses, but to turn around and say that it's like Rubenesque bloody Goldberg or whatever that twat said, I'm just like, dude, just go away, please. It was special. It was narrative, and yeah, it had a few problems, but I will always love 2nd edition. So yeah, I mean, thanks very much for joining us, guys. Matt, Karl, thank you very much as well. Karl, particularly your insight there was really cool, dude. I can't promise it's next week. It's difficult to get all 3 of us together, but we will come back and bring the Tyranny Codex as soon as possible. In the meantime, if GW does anything cool, we'll come back with normal CHEBS on a Monday. I've got a video tomorrow for you guys, 5 painting channels that you can check out and don't have to subscribe to Warhammer Plus. And I've got loads of other stuff in the pipeline that will be released at some point. But until then, thanks for joining us. Stay grognard